One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet who millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
I just want to say hello, Pennsylvania, and I'm thrilled to be back. This incredible Commonwealth. Together we've achieved more in less than 1 year than most other administrations have achieved in 8 years.
Our great president is ushering in a golden age economy by making America affordable again.
We're bringing those prices down rapidly, lower prices, bigger paychecks.
Soon we will start to see downward pressure on electricity prices.
Every single day of this administration, we will keep on working for the hard-working American citizens, people that love our country. And with your help, we will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again. And we will make America great again. Thank you, Pennsylvania. Thank you. This economy.
Welcome, everybody, to a Thursday show, which I believe is going to be epic in nature. We have a Thursday press conference lined up for you with Karoline Leavitt, of course. Pretty sure a lot of stuff that is going on, went on yesterday and is going on today is going to be a hot topic. So just to bring you up to speed, last night we all know about the Venezuelan ship being commandeered. Today we've got stuff going on in the House where they're interrogating Kristi Noem, which is a long video, which I have some excerpts for you, but I can't show you the whole thing. It's like they've been going on for an hour and a half. Maybe I'll show some of that tonight. Nope, won't be able to do that tonight because President Trump is speaking at 8:15 at a congressional ball. In addition to that, tonight, I also have Alpha Warrior. We recorded a video last night, didn't have a chance to do it on air because we were on air for 5 hours yesterday, so we've got that tonight. My voice is trying to hold up through all of this. And in addition to all that, right now they're taking a vote in the Senate, I believe, about Obamacare. What a day, and it's only 12:18. I'm sorry that I'm a little bit behind schedule because I had so much I was trying to pack into the pre-show before she does her press conference, and then I'm not sure how long she'll go, but then we have some post-show stuff that if we don't get through everything. So I want to show you something before I really dig in. Stephen Miller appeared on Sean Hannity's show last night. And it was very interesting listening to Stephen Miller talk. Those of you who have been following along for the last, I'd say, week or so, might catch the little inferences that he makes. Remember, when I try to do my shows, I try to do them a little bit differently. I listen to what people are saying. I key into the words that they use because I know the words matter to them. Every single thing you're seeing on television, every single thing you see when President Trump's in the office, nothing is by chance. Every single word, it's not scripted, but it's meant to let you know what they are thinking. So today, as I'm showing you some things, I want you to really dig in. Don't be superficial. Don't just be up here. Be those people on the internet who actually listen to what people say. And with that, I'm going to play this, and I'm going to stop it when you hear the word that I think you should key on. All right, you ready for this one? Let's listen.
How many Americans have to die before we say to those cartels bringing this poison in our country, we're not allowing you to do this anymore? Because Democrats seem to want to protect the rights of the Venezuelan narco-terrorists more than American citizens.
Yeah, since President Trump has come into office, Democrats have sided with, at every step of the way, the criminal cartels, the narco-terrorists, and the criminally illegal aliens who deal drugs, narcotics, traffic, weapons, children, and engage in all kinds of crimes against humanity in the United States and throughout the Western Hemisphere.
Did you catch that? Did you hear that? Go ahead in the chat and tell me if you caught that. We're going against all these people who have committed crimes against America and the Western Hemisphere. You can go back and search all kinds of videos, and that wasn't said before the stuff that dropped on December 2nd. And he just said it so fluently, right in a sentence, and probably most people are either eating dinner, playing around the remote, talking to the wife, just half-assed listening, and you may miss that. Wait. I heard, I'm sitting here with Robin last night, and I go, whoa, pause that. And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, did you hear what he just said? Did you hear what he just said? And she missed it. She's like, well, he said, you don't want these people fighting and doing bad things to America. It's not what he said. What he said was the Western Hemisphere. Listen more. I'm not gonna rewind. I just want you to hear the next time he says it.
President Trump has directed the Department of War, the Department of Homeland Security, the Department of Justice to prioritize the defense of American lives and borders by taking the fight directly to these criminal cartels and these foreign terrorist organizations. You mentioned today the historic action, an interagency operation involving the United States Coast Guard, involving the Department of Justice, involving the Department of War, to seize an illicit oil tanker that is directly involved in funding and financing terrorism. So again, these illicit, ill-gotten financial proceeds from these sanctioned transactions are used to finance.
All right, and stop there for another word, because all over X yesterday, people were saying that this is piracy. Oh my God, we've turned into pirates. We're just like the Somalis. And nobody was talking about the S word, sanctioned. These boats weren't supposed to be doing what they were doing. It's just during the Biden administration, nobody enforced it. The sanctions there. But we are using the sanctions, and I guess they got complacent and realized, oh, they're going to actually go do something about this? Okay, another hot word. Let's continue.
Murder, mayhem, drug trafficking, and terrorism across the Western Hemisphere and direct.
This isn't by accident, people. This isn't by accident that term is now being inserted into the administration's words. Western Hemisphere. This is no longer about America. I told you about this on December 3rd when I read the document and went, wait a second, what is this that President Trump just put out? And now you're starting to see the enforcement, the flex of muscle in the Western Hemisphere. It's no longer about America. Sorry, Cuba. I know you're in the Western Hemisphere. You're under our rule as well. Venezuela, yeah, we're not going to take your crap in the Western Hemisphere. And that's becoming very big. Democrats don't want to talk about it. You're pirates. You're doing bad things. The gaslighting is amplifying for people who don't know. I don't know if I even heard the Monroe Doctrine on CNN or MSNBC. I don't think I've even heard them refer to what the president and the administration are now doing.
In the United States. So these regimes use these ghost fleets, these dark fleets, to evade sanctions and to fund and finance and export terrorism, violence, and death. And President Trump has said, we will defend and protect American lives. And that's what's happening, Sean.
All right, so as you saw, that video had a lot of Max Headroom-like look to it. It was shaky. That's what was taking me so long to edit while I was late getting on, is because for some reason that footage didn't want to play well in the editing system. But I just had to make sure. I wanted to show that so you understood sanction, he said twice, and he also said Western Hemisphere twice in 2 minutes. In 2 minutes of him talking on television last night, he used the word sanction twice and Western Hemisphere twice. And I wanted to point that out to you guys as you're seeing all this stuff unfold, and then as you're about to watch the press conference with Karoline Leavitt, because some of I bet some of the people in the audience, not audience, but the reporters, they're not going to mention anything about the Western Hemisphere, and they're not going to mention anything about the sanctioned travels of the boats from Venezuela. That puts a whole different spin on things as they start talking about us, we're killing innocent fishermen. No, these are, you can't do what you're supposed to, what you guys want to do. You have to deal with the sanctions. They don't want any sanctions. I don't know if you guys saw this. Talk about just, I keep telling you, we're at war. It's a different kind of war. I don't know if you saw this. Activist judge orders, this is just like 35 minutes ago. Activist judge orders the release of, here he comes again, Kilmar Abrego Garcia. The Maryland man, the judge has now ordered for him to be released pending his deportation. Understand what that means. They know they can't stop him from being deported, but we're going to let him out until he's deported. Make any sense to you? You're not supposed to be here. You have a court-ordered deportation, which proves you're not supposed to be here. But while we're waiting to put you on a boat or plane, this judge has decided, well, I know he's not supposed to be here. I know we have a judgment that says he has to go. I get all that. I understand he's beat his wife. I understand he's trafficking people. I know he did all those things. But before he leaves, let's just let him out on the streets of America. And we still have people convinced that we're not in some sort of war. You're letting essentially an enemy, a dangerous person, intentionally back out on the street, or actually you've ordered it. I'm pretty sure, who knows, President Trump may say pound sand. But in any event, put him back out on the street. Start recognizing this stuff because it's absolutely crazy. President Trump he posted today, or he's posted a couple times, and that's what we're going to get into now. As I've been telling you, start talking about the things that actually matter. And he posted this: the stock market, this was an hour ago, then it was 10:43. The stock market just hit an all-time high. When will the fake polls show that I am doing a great job on the economy, and much more? Thank you. They won't. He knows that. That's why he's telling everybody. You know, we just hit another all-time high. You know, gold and silver are going crazy. You know, we just got the interest rates lower. You know, gas is great. People are enjoying the fruits of what he's done while criticizing him doing it. That make any sense to anybody? Well, before the press conference comes on, let's go into some of the things that he said yesterday that are seemingly very important.
There's no world. You know, you can go to some of these wonderful countries that you think are so great. Well, one of the reasons they're great is because we allowed them to get rich off of us. We didn't charge them anything. You look at some of the deals, I don't want to say, use Switzerland as an example, but Switzerland paid almost nothing in terms of a tariff or tax or whatever you want to call it, license. They paid nothing, and, you know, they're paying now. They're paying a fair amount. I had them at 39%, but I decided to be nice. I was nice, and I think they like us a little bit better. But the money you're talking about is enormous. Our country is a very rich country. But if we do well, the market should go up and the value of our country should go up. And if we do poorly, the market then should go down. It shouldn't be the opposite. And if we go up, we should encourage it to go up more. And those numbers, when you say, you know, 3% of GDP or 4% of GDP, they should be much higher. So, you know, I've wanted to say it. I do say it. I believe it. And we have to get a mindset that when a country's doing well, you don't want to kill the growth. That's what they're doing.
That is, when he said it yesterday, like when he's talking in his things, I don't like to interrupt. But I wanted to stop there because what he said is something that many people have wondered. Why do you put constraints on growth? Why do you try to stop growth? Oh, it's going too fast. Let's do everything we can to tamp it down. We don't want people to be that successful. We don't want people to be that prosperous. It's not good. We need the poor people. We need people dependent upon the government. Instead of saying, it's going fantastic, we're all going to do great. Get some. Have you ever wondered that? Have you ever wondered why they take the valves and start cranking things? Oh, that's too good. It's too much. Who are you to say it's too prosperous? Who are these people in the shadows who say, no, let's crank that down before people get too much money? And right now, you got people saying that. You have people saying, oh, how do we stop this growth? We're hearing numbers which most people don't have any clue of, 3, 4, 5, 6% GDP. That's unheard of. Why is it unheard of? Because they don't want it. It makes America way too powerful. It makes America way too prosperous. People have gotten used to being poor. People have gotten used to working 60, 70 hours a week. People have gotten used to all this crap, and they never understand how to enjoy prosperity. You see it in our chat here. See, one of the things that nobody talks about except President Trump, when they go, this is too expensive and that's too expensive, is to define why it's too expensive. It's too expensive because people can't afford it. The root cause is that word, afford it. Why can they not afford it? Because they've been put in situations for decades where they are taught you can't afford it. What do I mean by that? Well, if I want to buy a Cybertruck, my mindset is, well, Barry, you might need to make a couple more videos. You may sell more houses. You may do something so that you can afford it. Nobody else should be able to define affordability except you. That's a novel concept. Yeah, I want to buy a new phone. What's the new phone cost? $1,500. I can afford it. Why can I afford it? Because I am dictating how much money I am going to make, not somebody else. And that's the complete golden goose right there that he keeps trying to tell you. Howard Lutnick, who you're going to see, we're going to be so rich. We got tariffs. And people are like, well, what do you mean? What do you mean talking about we're all suddenly going to be so rich? Did you hear what President Trump said yesterday? Freaked people out. And it initial freak people out is because they didn't think about, well, yeah. Yesterday he goes, you know what? I think we might do no tips on gambling winnings. And initially people are like, oh my God, we can't do that. And then I asked a few people, why not? Why should you have to pay tax on gambling winnings? And I heard all the excuses, well, it might encourage gambling, it might do this. No, that's personal issues. Why should the government be taking your gambling winnings? Huh? What? What you just described is gambling anonymous. People may get addicted. I understand that. That's separate. My question is, why should the IRS be dipping into your gambling winnings? And nobody has an answer for that. Nobody. Nobody has any answer for that whatsoever. So when President Trump is talking about the stock market today, I want to show you this. It says the Dow jumps 500 points to a record as Oracle sparks rush out of AI trade into broader market. 600 points right now. So what do you look at gold? Oh, well, what happened? What's going on? All I know is when I told you a couple months ago, go ahead and strap in because this rocket ship's about to blow and I want to make sure I have a seat. And I told you that. Well, that looks like a rocket trajectory if I ever saw one. How about silver? Let's go ahead and click on silver. Boom, shakalaka, boom. 60, what does it say? 64, up 5% today. I had somebody that came into my Twitter profile yesterday and was telling me how it was bad that we were making a profit. Well, Barry, you're not talking about storage or insurance or commissions. Shut up. You have no idea what my position is. You have no idea where the gold and silver is stored. You have no idea what commissions I'm paying. What are you talking about? You got to stop letting other people dictate your financial affordability. That is a complete misnomer, and that's what President Trump was talking about last night. He goes, every time things start going good, people start messing with the valves. Let's crank this down. It's too good. What do you think will happen if we had an economy that was dictated by the market versus individuals? Oh, the interest rate, we need to turn this down. How about just lower the interest rates, let the tariffs sit, let Trump cook, let's all make some money. One of the reasons why I talk about prosperity so much is because it is foreign to too many people. Think about that. When you're feeling uneasy and you get that squishy feeling in your underwear because people are talking about money, whose problem is that? Not mine. It's yours. And you feel that way is because it's like, somebody walked into your bathroom while you were taking a shower. It's intimate. You shouldn't see me naked. Instead of going, yeah, here I am. This is me. That boldness that you get when you realize you are taking care of business for you and your family, and you shouldn't feel at all acrimonious. You shouldn't feel ashamed. You should be flying a flag. I bought silver. I bought gold. I bought Tesla when stupid Timmy thought it was going to fail. I'm going to get SpaceX IPO. Be happy. It spreads. It's contagious. It's been contagious in our own chat. People like, I only had like $50. I bought $50. Now I got 200. I put it back in here and I did this. I want a community of people who want to succeed, who want to learn as much as possible for the betterment of their family and themselves. Yes, yourself. Yes, if you want to go out and buy yourself a new car, someone should be able to go out and buy that new car. You should, hey, I'm going to the dealership today. I'm buying a damn new car. Why? Because I can afford it. If you get that mindset and you realize that's what President Trump and Howard Lutnick and Scott Bessent are trying to tell you. Well, as you turn on the TV, I don't feel it at the gas pump. Then fix it. Do something about it. I don't know. Some people need to hear this.
Kill the growth. I don't know if you guys even agree with that. They kill the growth because they're so afraid of inflation. But you can have tremendous growth without inflation. Everything goes up with the growth. But that's not inflation. So I think we...
You hear that? First thing he said was, I know you don't want to hear about it. Yeah, exactly. That's the same thing I feel. Man, they don't want to hear it. They don't want to know. Why did the President of the United States talking to the press say, I know some of you don't want to hear it? You should have as much as you want. Nobody's holding you back. Opportunity is there. That's what he's trying to tell people. I don't care about inflation. Why? Because I'm going to make more. There's a novel concept. Scott Bessent said yesterday, if inflation grows at 1%, but wages grow at 3%, that means I can afford more. They keep telling you over and over and over.
We can do much better than traditional numbers. And you see that. You see that with what we're doing. We're leading in everything. And now, and remember this, as far as prices are concerned, and they talk about affordability, I inherited the worst inflation in the history of our country. They say it was 48 years, but I say it was the history. What difference? It's 48 years, they were telling me. They said I was being inaccurate because I said the history. I think 48 years is a long time, but it's actually, I disagree. I think it's the history. So in the Biden administration, I inherited the worst inflation in the history of our country, or 48 years. And prices were very, very high. I brought the prices down. We had yesterday 3 states where oil was at $1.99 a gallon. How about that? And you know, with these guys, it was $4, $4.50. In California, it was like $7 because that's a badly run state. But the price for oil and gas and everything else, the price of gasoline was $4.50, $5. And we just hit $1, and now we broke $2. I was looking forward to the couple of states, 3 states. And I will say that when that happens, oil and gas and energy is so big, it's so big a category, you don't even know what number 2 is. There is no number 2.
There is no number 2, which means the Biden administration tried to destroy number 1. See, if there is no number 2, if energy, oil and gas and natural gas and electricity, if those things are number 1, then why would you ever try to destroy number 1? Because politically, you want to keep people depressed. Interesting what he said there too is about California. When he said the price of gas is XYZ. But California, because it's a badly run state, I don't think a lot of the people in the press understood what he's saying. You guys, because of what I said yesterday, you now know. You now know, here's the price of gas. This is what the gas costs. And then certain states pack on a whole bunch of taxes above that for whatever reason. So if the price is $2, but you got $1 or $3 worth of tax, it's the state that is causing the prices to be too high, and many of you found that out yesterday. Some for the first time. Could not believe what your state was taxing, putting on top. And, you know, he subtly says it. Press never comes out. Press never says, oh yeah, by the way, you're right. Gas is only like $1.80 a gallon, but my state puts on 90 cents in taxes. Nope, they never report that. Nobody ever reports that. They don't want you to know. because it sells and says, hey, we don't want you driving, so we're going to make gas $6 or $7 a gallon. Sort of like what they did with cigarettes. We don't want you smoking, and because of that, we're going to tack on a whole bunch of fees and everything else. They are running your lives. They do the same thing with groceries and other items. And so what President Trump is saying, basically, here's the price of gas. The rest of that stuff on top of it, that's your state. But the media will never report that.
And when you have the prices coming down for energy like that, you've killed inflation and you're lowering prices. So I inherited very simply the highest prices in history, and I'm bringing them down really fast, led by energy. And when energy comes down, everything else comes down. But I don't worry about it. It's like statistically, it's amazing. When you win the presidency, even if you win by a landslide like we did, and even if you do a good job, and some people say we've done the best opening 10 months in history, in the history of the presidency, I think we have. Who's done better? We ended 8 wars. We have the strongest economy. We have $18 trillion coming in, which is more than any country had, times I think 5 or 6. 18 trillion is a lot even in your standards, right?
Yes, sir.
Even for that guy, 18 trillion is big numbers. But we have $18 trillion coming in. Pretty amazing, right? I think Qualcomm would be very impressed if they had even a little piece of that. So we've done a great job. But for whatever reason, and nobody's been able to give me an answer. When you win the presidency, you seem to lose the midterms. Even if you win the presidency by a lot and you do a great job as president. Some presidents have done good.
So what you didn't hear there, maybe because the reporter volume was lower, is, and this is something at this point I took as, I won't say gospel, but very important. The question the reporter asked him, are you worried about the midterms? And he shrugged it off. I'm not worried about it. I don't know if you caught that. I don't know if you just caught that the President of the United States, who everybody says is doing bad, that the Democrats and socialists are going to wipe him out in the midterms, pretty much went, I ain't worried about it. What does that tell me? Don't worry about it. Let the panicins be panicins. Let everybody run around out there with their heads cut off and their butts on fire. Whatever motivation they have is influencers. The President of the United States just told you, I ain't worried about it. I don't know if you caught that. Is that something I need to rewind? Because he looked at the other guys. It almost looked like a mob boss. Yeah, the midterms. Yeah, whatever. Forget about it. He basically said, forget about it. Not worried. And I think I know why he's not worried. Alpha Warrior and I are going to discuss that tonight. But he ain't worried, so why am I going to be worried? And his look on his face was, I wasn't worried. He's not that good of an actor. Let me just bring that back to you just at the beginning there. Hold on. Let's listen.
Best opening 10 months in history, it happens. Oil and gas and energy is so big, it's so big a category, you don't even know what number 2 is. There is no number 2. And when you have the prices coming down for energy like that, you've killed inflation and you're lowering prices. So I inherited very simply the highest prices in history, and I'm bringing them down really fast, led by energy. And when energy comes down, everything else comes down. But I don't worry about it. It's like statistically, it's amazing. When you win the presidency, even if you win by a landslide like we did, and even if you do a good job, and some people say we've done the best opening 10 months in history, in the history of the presidency, I think we have. Who's done better? We ended 8.
Who's done better? Worried about it. I'll let other people worry about it. It ain't me. I'm not going to go there. And I love it. I absolutely love it. He continued with this.
The stock market has set a 51, think of this, 51 all-time record highs during the last 10 months. 51. You guys have big beneficiaries. You're setting the records, right? It's amazing. 51 times we've hit a new high. And in the history of our country, if you think about it, 51 times during the last 10 months. And Bruce, let me ask you, pull these people all together, how's it looking for technology?
All right, so before you answer that question, let me go ahead and do what I have to do with one of our partners here, Kimchi. Did you know that U.S. life expectancy has peaked at 78 years in 2014, and global life expectancy is declining for the first time in 30 years because people are aging faster than ever before? This is due to more toxins in the air, chemicals in our soil and food, and other external factors that are new to us. What most people don't know is that we can actually fight aging on a cellular level. So when you look at that and you understand that aging is a problem, do something about it. Do something to help preserve yourself as you age. Scientists have discovered that kimchi actually slows the aging process of human cells, helping people protect those cells and delay aging at the cellular level. The power of nature can outweigh the power of pharmaceuticals without the nasty side effects. And now you can get all the benefits of kimchi in a single capsule with Kimchi 1. Each capsule delivers over 900 probiotic strains plus antioxidants and enzymes that support your digestion, your metabolism, and skin health from the inside out. And as we all age, we become more susceptible to microbial threats. Kimchi 1 is a natural antimicrobial, helping your body fight off harmful bacteria, viruses, and even toxins while boosting your immunity and your energy. I can tell you, having gotten my annual cold right now, that the Kimchi 1 that Robin has me taken has shortened that considerably. I mean, I got sick on Sunday night, felt like hell on Monday, and here it is on Thursday, and I'm already feeling much better. I just have the residual bad frog in my throat. So best of all, Kimchi 1 is 100% made in the United States, all natural, non-GMO. Supports your gut, protects your cells, and feel younger every single day with Kimchi 1 from Brightcore. Today, you can get a great deal, an exclusive offer by clicking the link in the description, or just use code BARRY for 25% off your entire order, or for an even better deal, call Brightcore for up to 50% off of your order and free shipping. And give them a call now at 888-418-6738. You should really give them a call, because if you give them a call, they'll actually talk to you and tell you which product may work better for you. I like Kimchi, Robin likes Revive, we both like Fortify. Call them at 888-418-6738. All right, so we're gonna go back to this. More financial stuff. And because I just find that to be important, because it's freedom. For me, prosperity means freedom. I don't have to worry about what I'm going to do, when I'm gonna do it, how I'm gonna do it. Ashley and the kids wanna come down? Come on down, let's go, let's have fun, let's go to the football game, let's enjoy life, it's Christmas. I want that for you as well. And so what's very interesting, if things are so bad, you know, this is like the enigma question I always pose to people. If America sucks so bad, why are all these newcomers trying to get here? I know I'm not booking any flights to Somalia anytime soon. I don't think any of you are looking to fly to Somalia and pitch a tent. Nope, ain't gonna happen. So if America's so bad, why are they all coming here? Nobody can ever answer that. We know it's the land of opportunity, but the media and the left try to tell us how bad everything is. Well, nobody explains that. If it's so damn bad, why do they all want to be here? You can ask your friends who are liberals that. Why are they coming? Trump sucks. Everything's terrible. Don't come. You're going to be miserable in this great country. You're going to be miserable seizing opportunity. If America is such a bad country, why did the Somalians come over here and steal $1 billion? Well, probably because you can't trade dirt. So it's a great country, isn't it? It's not so bad. So why are you trying to turn it back into the hellhole you came from? I say that because of the room that President Trump is in. That question can be afforded right now as you look at that round table. If America's so bad, so So horrible. Why are these people around the room putting in billions into America? I'm not investing in Somalia. I'm not going to some dirt country and spending money. Nobody answers the enigma questions. Nobody answers the questions that are obvious when you sit back and think. Everybody wants to be here, and everybody wants to invest here. And if they want to invest, somebody tell me why they would be doing it if this country was so bad. And here's the other thing you need to understand. If I'm Michael Dell and some of the other people, Qualcomm at that table, and I'm investing here, I'm expecting that the people in this country can actually buy my product. If I'm Tim Cook from, Apple, I think you can buy my product. So if I'm going to invest $1 gazillion into America, then I'm pretty sure that I'm going to get the return because people are going to buy my stuff. But how could they be buying the stuff if the economy sucks? Once you start drilling deeper, you start understanding this doesn't make any sense. You got so many people go, it's so horrible, it's horrible. But they're making videos on $1,000 phones. It's so bad that you were able to make a video on that $1,000 phone. When you start thinking about it and looking what you're seeing, it makes a lot of sense that you're being lied to.
A lot of global competition, but you'd rather be playing our hand than any other hand in the world.
Both sides. I think you bring affordability, you focus on housing and bring the affordability of housing down. You focus on the farms and bring the price of groceries down. And you bring down interest rates. Remember, if you bring down interest rates and you bring down energy, you're really grabbing people's pocketbooks and putting more money in them. You've got taxes coming down, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on our Social Security, things like that. These things, and you drive GDP growth, real GDP growth, not the middling growth that we've gotten used to, this sort of 2% nonsense. This economy, the $30 trillion U.S. economy, can grow 4%. It can grow 5%. And I think under President Trump, you're going to see it grow 6%. And people...
That should make your head spin when you hear that. Unfortunately, not enough people know what the hell that even means. Unfortunately, not enough people go, wait a second. He's talking 6% GDP. He's talking about the economy exploding. Well, go back and measure it against Obama and Biden. And then you have to begin wondering, why are people so obsessed with killing growth? Have you ever thought that? Let me go back. Do you understand what GDP is? I'm not trying to insult you, but if nobody has ever explained to you what GDP is, those numbers that he's saying don't mean anything. Why? Because our schools aren't teaching kids what GDP actually stands for. What they don't understand when people are saying is growth, the economy grew at this and that and the other number, because I don't know what he's talking about. What do you mean? And the reason you don't know what it means is because the people around you that you look to have done nothing but try to suppress your growth. You say, I tell people all the time, and a lot of people don't like to hear it from me, and I keep saying it to them, and I do understand it is absolutely hard. But if I was in a location that stifled growth, stifled prosperity, and stifled opportunity, I couldn't stay there. Because at that point, you're waving the white flag. You're like, I don't deserve anything better. I guess I'll stay here. And I know it's hard to uproot. I know it's hard to move. But at some point, there has to be some progression that you look at and go, this ain't working. And you can't say it next year, well, it didn't work in 2025. Maybe 2026 will be different. What's different? I told you when I played this song by Styx, Man in the Wilderness, and it got me all teary-eyed because the very first verse of that song, another year has passed me by, though I look at myself and cry, what kind of man have I become? Well, January is in 20 days, and I want you all to go look in a mirror on December 31st and go, yep, another year has passed me by. Maybe I haven't cried, but I want to look at myself in the mirror and say, what kind of man or woman have I become? What have I done in 2025? What did I do in 2024? And how am I going to make it better in 2026 so that December 31st, 2026, I'm not saying the same answer? That's a hard thing to do. Because if you're honest with yourself and you get up in the morning and go, yep, another year has passed me by. What happened? What happened last year? And am I going to do this in 2026? Because if you don't have those answers, look yourself in the face, because there's nobody in the room but you. Lock the bathroom door. Honey, I'll be out in a little while. I got to talk to this guy here. All right, so I spent the entire 2025 doing X, and it has provided me Y. Look at your bank statement. Look at your ending bank statement for 2024. Look at your ending bank statement for 2025 and go, are you going to do the same thing in 2026? That didn't work here? That didn't work here? Just going to keep going? Another year passed you by, look at myself and cry, what kind of person have I become? I'm not. You see, one of the things with YouTube and with stock charts and everything else, you can click the button and go, okay, here's what 2024, here's 2025. What do I need to do to see where this button is here in 2026? I don't want to be standing around in December 31st of 2026 and going, blew it. No. So if you look at yourself in the mirror on December 31st and say, I'm not going to do this in 2026. I'm going to find a way to change this. I'm going to go someplace. I'm going to do something so that my life changes in 2026. That's the kind of person I want to become.
Oh, these things aren't possible. Lower rates, lower energy, you're going to have that growth. You're going to fix America doing both sides, raising wages, great jobs coming into this country, bringing down the cost of energy, bringing down the cost of interest rates. You're going to have Americans feel good about the United States of America under Donald Trump. And that's what we're playing for. We're playing for fixing both sides of the spectrum. This high in interest rate. Our economy, of course, is growing. You can have a growing economy and lower interest rates. That's
stunning that you actually have to say that statement. You can grow and have lower interest rates. What do you mean? What do you mean? We're supposed to crank the interest rates up when people are making more money. Why? Why? Why would you crank interest rates up when the economy is doing well? There's only one answer. And if you've been following along, you probably know the answer at this point. Why would you want to increase cost while people are doing better? Because you want to take their money. Well, they're doing good. Well, they're making some serious cash. People are cashing out on gold and silver. Oh my God, we need to raise the interest rates. We can't let these people enjoy their prosperity. And what he just said and what Trump's saying is, why can't we have low interest rates and prosperity? Huh? We've never done it that way. Exactly. It's an illusion. It's all making you feel a certain way. Oh, I can't afford it today. Why? Everything costs more. Why does it cost more? Because the interest rates are high. Oh, okay. But I'm making more, but I'm affording less. That's the idea. That's what they're doing to us. That's what they've been doing to us. And now it sounds foreign when a guy like Howard Lutnick shows up and goes, hey, why can't we have both? Huh? You can actually feel economists go, huh? What do you mean, both? Yeah, why can't we make more and pay less? Isn't that the idea? Isn't that how economy should be? I'm making more because I'm more successful. Ergo, I should be paying less for stuff. What? And he's having to explain it on CNBC. Why can't we have both? A question nobody has asked in my lifetime. Why can't things be cheaper and people make more money? Well, it's not supposed to work that way. Exactly.
Hey, there is no inflation in the country. It's less than 3%. There's no fears. There's nothing happening that are horrible. You know, things are coming down. Energy prices are coming down. I think the key is rates should be lower. If you just study it comparatively, you would see the United States of America is paying too high. These people are too afraid. Jay Powell is too late, but maybe he should be called too afraid to lead the greatest $30 trillion economy in the world. We should be leading with our front foot. Instead, we're always leaning back as if something bad is happening. We are doing...
I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, and it was so funny. It was so funny. Not part of it's funny. The part is he has a friend who had a stroke, and this friend has recovered from the stroke physically. But his friend can't stop thinking about having another stroke. And so his friend keeps telling him, I can't do it. It might raise the stress. Oh, I can't do that. My stress level might go up. I might have, another stroke. And then he says, are you having problems at home? I understand your wife and you are arguing. Yeah, she keeps wanting me to do stuff, and I keep telling her no because I might have a stroke. And he said to him, well, isn't you and your wife fighting at home, raising your stress level? Huh? Why are you going to confront the dude with common sense? You're worrying about stuff that hasn't happened. Yes, we all like to have a rainy day fund and everything else, but at the same time, your plan should be on, it's not going to happen, not wondering, oh my God, am I going to get in a car and run into a bus? Am I going to leave the driveway and drive into the canal? We have canals down here. No, I'm going to get in a car and I'm driving to the store. I'm driving to get a haircut. I'm doing whatever. You don't drive around expecting to get a flat tire. Then it happens. But you don't plan and run your day on, okay, I'm going to go outside now and I'm going to watch out because I might get a flat tire. No, that's what Howard's saying. Why does America run with an watch out instead of go for it?
Great. Nothing bad is happening. Greatness is happening. We're growing 4% GDP.
So, hey, Mr. Secretary.
AI is going to grow in America. We have the right rules. We have the right foundation. We're building huge amounts of energy here to keep energy prices low. We're going to create a great economy based on the AI infrastructure build. I think that's going to create advanced manufacturing so we can bring manufacturing and
How he's talking about AI. And I guarantee you, as we talk more about AI, you'll see it in the chat. What I just said about not getting in your car expecting to have a flat tire, you get people in the chat. There was one guy in the chat too, I don't trust AI. And I'm like, you have no idea how much AI is running your life right now. You have no idea what is happening with AI. And you got people worried that something's going to happen. And that worry that something is going to happen is precluding them from learning about AI. Well, you got people like myself and people I talk to like, I need to get knee deep in this. I need to know everything about it. If AI doesn't work, that's fine. But if they're going to start pushing this way, and you got the Commerce Secretary telling you, we're jumping in, President Trump has said over and over, I want to be the leader in AI. I want America to win the AI race. And yet, the doomsayers are like, I can't. I'm afraid. You're afraid of the unknown. You're afraid that some computer is going to tell you something you don't want to hear. You're afraid that the computer might be biased. That's all your problem. You have to have discernment as to what the computer tells you. You have to understand, hey, listen, the computer told me I should, perfect example. I love my perfect examples because, I'm sorry, it happens so much. You get in a car, and Robin will put in the directions someplace into her GPS. Okay, we're going to go this way. And I'm like, no, turn left up here. Because I know about 3 o'clock, the school's all over there, going to be kids running around, so turn left here. She's like, you always have your alternate directions. I'm like, well, I drive a lot. Well, I used to. Especially when I was doing real estate. I knew back roads into certain neighborhoods I don't think even the cops knew. I know, hey, let me go down this alley here, because when I get through this alley, I can take a quick left, and I'll be at, 32nd Street. And I know there's no lights down here, so you know where the garbage trucks go? I always found out, if I follow the garbage trucks, they're going to show me the quickest routes. And as long as it's not garbage day, I'm going to shoot down this alley right here. I'll be good. And Robin and I always end up with arguments. I'm like, Robin, turn here. But the GPS says, no, I don't care what the GPS says. I don't care what the AI says. I know better. Most of the time, it ends up working. But in any event, you have people fearful of AI instead of putting trust into it. Like when I go to someplace I don't know, I have to put trust into the AI. I have no idea. When we were our first time down to this year's season, our tickets are in a certain area. But if you go this way, you got to go through this traffic and this parking lot. But if you go as alternate route that nobody's labeled, it doesn't tell you, get off here and you can come around and you'll be at, lot 5 or 6, whatever. We didn't know. Now we don't even look at the GPS. We're just driving along and like, okay, we got to hit here. And some people have said, where are you guys going? Well, yeah, we'll see you. We'll be at the stadium. AI, baby. Love it.
Or to America. Remember, Americans don't have millions of people to screw in little screws in iPhones, but we do have the capacity to run robotics. When I say robotics, think about it, a modern auto plant, with those robotic arms doing the welding. Thousands of technicians will be manning those factories, and that's what's going to come to America. I think you're going to see enormous manufacturing growth in America across pharmaceuticals, semiconductors, autos, steel. It's all coming home, and we're going to have an amazing economy. I would not be afraid. I would be excited. The answer...
What did he just say? I would not be afraid. I would be excited. And I know there's a lot of people of faith that are in our fanfare community, and I'm going to challenge your faith. When I say challenge, instead of resisting, if you would like your faith to guide you, that's different. Hey, listen, I got to learn this. I don't know anything about it. I can see this is where things are going. I need to, guide me so I don't go into the porn area. It would not like that would happen anyway, unless, of course, you look at porn. Don't be afraid, be excited. And one of those things in terms of being excited is understanding that if you are in a job, career, position, business that is going to be taken over by AI, maybe now that look in the mirror for 2026 is, I don't foresee growth. I foresee stagnation or elimination in 2026. Do you want to get caught off guard when you get called to the principal's office and they say, we got to let you go? Or do you want to go, hey, listen, I'm pretty sure, but let me ask the company, are you going to be investing in AI? Maybe that might be the first thing you do. Go into HR, go to your marketing director or CEO at a town hall meeting and say, hey, what's our plan for AI? Oh, so mid-2026, you hope to be, guess what? I need to be gone by mid-2026. I don't want to get the call to come down to HR and say, I'm sorry, we're not going to need your services anymore. Have the foresight to know where that puck is going, because it will indeed eliminate jobs. There's no getting away from it. What you need to do is make sure you're not one of the people who gets eliminated. By creating value and knowledge, you can become not one of the people who get that call. And you should be excited about what's coming up. All right, we're still waiting for Karoline, and nothing yet. All right.
Is our GDP is going to grow. Our economy is going to be on fire. These investments coming into America, if you put them against GDP, you're going to see we are going to have historic growth rates in the United States of America, and that does not create inflation.
All right, so when you hear what he just said, again, listening to words, we are going to do this at historic levels. When you hear the word historic, it means it's never happened before. That's what history. Oh, he's making history. You're doing something that has never happened. And because something has never happened, historic growth levels, some people shy away. Me, I'm like, bring it. I want as much of that historic growth as possible. These guys know what they're doing. They understand where things are going, and they're trying to tell us, and too many people just don't want to listen.
Prices are coming down. I think what you should see is lower rates here and higher growth to finally get the golden age of America. That's what Donald Trump looks at, and I question anybody who says, why must interest rates be this high?
Look at that. Gross domestic product percent change compound annual rate. Look at the numbers. Look at what we're looking at. Boom! It's about to explode, and people aren't understanding that you need to get a hold of that, or get your ticket on the rocket ship.
Go look at Europe. Go look at everywhere else. Why do their interest rates are hundreds of basis points lower than ours? Why are we paying so much? Because we're afraid and we're wrong. And I think Donald Trump is onto that, and that's why he keeps saying it. Our rates should be significantly lower compared to the rest of this world.
You see, one of the reasons why the rates have been higher is because we have to pay for so much crap. And so the country in the past has had to borrow because we're having to pay for stuff because you're stealing the money. So if we're cutting off all this stuff and stop spending gazillion dollars overseas, we don't need to borrow as much. We can start paying things down. The interest rates can become better. People can be more prosperous.
$52.8 billion. That's a better, lower trade deficit than we expected. We were looking for a number closer to $62 billion, and that follows a revised minus $59 billion. Minus $52 billion would be...
All right, see, this is one of the problems that I'm seeing all over the place. People don't understand these numbers. $52 billion trade deficit. Yeah, our deficits in imbalance in terms of what happens is lowering, and people aren't understanding what that means. And of course the media is like, blah, 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 Charlie Kirk Candace, but I don't care. I don't care. I don't care about the maroon shirts. I don't care about any of that stuff. Why? Because it doesn't matter. It doesn't change my life. You know, I showed you a little while ago. Oh, she's up. Okay.
Given the complete mess that President Trump inherited from Joe Biden and radical left Democrats in Congress, what this administration has accomplished since January 20th has been nothing short of remarkable. While most politicians promise big on the campaign trail and break those promises once they get into office, President Trump promised big and has delivered even bigger. On the economic front, after inheriting the worst inflation crisis in over 4 decades, President Trump's pro-growth policies are making tremendous progress to make America affordable again. Under the painful Biden years, inflation reached a record high 9% and devoured Americans' purchasing power. In President Trump's term thus far, inflation has dropped to an average of just 2.7%, marking critical progress. The Trump administration is working hard every single day to bring down the cost of living through bigger paychecks and lower prices. Real wages are finally on the rise again and on pace to increase to roughly $1,200 for the average American worker this year. To put that into perspective, real wages declined by almost $3,000 under the Biden administration. That means Americans right now are on track already to make up 1/3 of the $3,000 in lost wages under Joe Biden. There's much work to do, but this has already been significant progress. President Trump has also delivered resoundingly on his promise to end Joe Biden's insane war on American energy and make sure our country has reliable and affordable energy produced right here at home. As a result, the nationwide average for regular gas just fell to its lowest level in nearly 5 years. According to data from Gas Buddy released on Monday, average gas prices have now dipped below $3 per gallon in 37 states, below $2.75 per gallon in 22 states, and below $2.50 per gallon in 5 states. Just a few years ago, we saw record high price gas of nearly $5 per gallon. American families faced constant pain at the pump, and those costs caused the price of everything else to go up as well. In fact, the average cost for a gallon of regular gas in the country was the most expensive price during a presidential term in U.S. history under Biden's disastrous leadership, even with them recklessly draining our strategic reserves to try and artificially decrease prices. But thanks to President Trump, those days are long behind us. In the months ahead, Americans can expect prices to fall even further. We know that when gas gets cheaper, everything else gets cheaper too, and that's what this president is focusing on. Americans can also expect another boost to their bank accounts in the months ahead, as 2026 tax refund season is upon us after the holidays and is projected to be the largest ever thanks to President Trump's passage of the One Big Beautiful Bill. According to recent analysis from Piper Sandler, when Americans file their taxes early next year, their refunds could be about 1/3 larger than usual, or roughly an extra $1,000 per filer. That is money straight into the pockets of the American people. It's only because of President Trump and Republicans' leadership that Americans will now pay no tax on tips, overtime, and Social Security. President Trump and Republicans believe hardworking Americans deserve to keep more of their hard-earned money, but Democrats, on the other hand, every single one of them, voted against these massive tax cuts. So remember that the next time Democrats try to talk about affordability. Democrats don't have a single clue about how to make America more affordable. They just spent the last 4 years creating the very affordability crisis that President Trump is fixing right now. And if given the chance of power ever again, the Democrats will implement those same policies and jack inflation right back up to where it was. Finally, at the border, President Trump has restored America's sovereignty and made our country safe again. This is the single greatest and fastest national security victory in modern American history, and it's not even close. The latest preliminary numbers released from the month of November show we have the most secure border in our nation's history. This is a remarkable achievement. November encounters came in even lower than the previous historic low in October, if you can believe it. There were only 30,367 total encounters nationwide. That's lower than the previous record set in October. And for the 7th consecutive month, U.S. Border Patrol released 0 illegal aliens into the United States. Let me repeat, 7 months of 0 illegal aliens being released into our country. This is a historic achievement, and it's one that every law-abiding American citizen should be grateful for. At this point in 10 months under President Trump's unmatched leadership, we've seen less apprehensions overall than we saw in just 1 month under Joe Biden. Again, let me repeat, in 10 months under President Trump, we've seen less apprehensions at the southern border than we saw in 1 month under the previous president. Again, remarkable results. All in all, the economy is back on track and ready to boom over the next 3 years. Biden's inflation crisis is over. Prices are coming down. Wages are rising. The border is fully secure, and America's best days are to come. President Trump has kept his word and delivered for the American people over the past year, and he will not stop fighting, as you heard from him directly this week, until our country and every state in this country is better than ever before. So with that, I will take your questions today. I know there's a lot of news. We'll start with our new media seat. Mr. Bowling, it's great to see you here. He's of Real America's Voice. He's also the host of Edge, his interview and commentary podcast. Please, Eric, why don't you kick us off?
Caroline, thank you very much for this and inviting me to the new media seat. As you point out, affordability crisis, it strikes me energy prices have been coming down aggressively since President Trump's second term. approaching $55 a barrel for oil. Gasoline, as you point out, under $3 a barrel nationally. First time in 5 years. By the way, that $55 barrel oil is about half of the peak under the last 4 years of the last administration, half the price. Wholesale prices come down, yet affordability crisis, a lot of the folks in this room, a lot of legacy media, some of the people in the front row, seem to want to call this an affordability crisis right now, forgetting the fact that over the last 4 years prior, we hit 9% inflation, wages, as you point out, were stagnant at best, sometimes had dipped. That's a real affordability crisis there, but they weren't really calling it that then. You point out how President Trump is changing the affordability in America, but how will he ensure that the legacy media doesn't flip the script and change it so that they're using affordability as their word, their idea, versus what the American people who know much better?
Yeah, well, it's a great question, Eric, and it's a point of frustration for the president and for myself. I will say that's part of the reason I just kicked off this briefing today, setting the record straight with facts about the economic mess that the president inherited from his predecessor, Joe Biden. And he's focused on digging our country and our economy out of that hole every day. Things are getting better, and they will continue to. And President Trump understands better than any politician in this city the pain that the American consumer has been feeling for years now because of the last administration's policies. You heard him in the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania this past week campaigning and talking to these voters, saying, I was elected to fix this problem, and I am fixing it. Don't forget who created it, and that's the Democrats. And I think when you hear the president talk about affordability, he's saying the Democrats are the greatest con artists in history because they are now trying to claim ownership of an issue that they created. And every data point and every economic metric does in fact show that the economy is improving. And so I do wish more people would report on those facts. I do wish that more people would remind the American public how we got here and why. It does not mean this president is discarding the feelings of the American people. He gets it better than anyone, which is why his entire administration has been focused on the issue of the economy and energy prices since day one.
If I may
sure.
follow up, it's reported that around 10,000 commercial driver's license operators have been pulled by your transportation secretary department. Will the president apply that same metric? For the reason was the operators weren't speaking or reading English to a level that was safely, people thought they would safely be able to operate trucks on our roadways. It's estimated in California around 40% of Uber and Lyft drivers don't speak English proficiently, and the number's 45% in Minnesota. Will this same rule or metric apply to the gig economy like Uber and Lyft?
So I don't have any announcements on further regulations, if you will, from the Department of Transportation with respect to this issue. However, I will just reiterate the Trump administration's position is that truck drivers, particularly those driving big rigs on our nation's road and highways, who have a great responsibility to keep the American public and their fellow citizens safe, should be speaking English and should have an ability to read English proficiently. I think that's a very common sense policy to have. And we've unfortunately seen, and the Department of Transportation has uncovered and is actively working to fix these state-sponsored commercial trucking driver licenses, which were going to people who are not qualified to be driving these massive trucks on American roads, and they're endangering the lives of our fellow citizens. We've unfortunately seen many vehicle accidents across the country where people have lost their lives because of drivers that were just simply unqualified to be driving these trucks. So I know this is something DOT and Secretary Duffy take very seriously. Peter.
Thank you, Caroline. Based on the way that things stand right now, is Operation Southern Spear about drugs or is it about oil?
What I will tell you, Peter, is that the Trump administration is focused on doing many things in the Western Hemisphere. The president has taken a new approach that has not been taken by any administration for quite some time to actually focus on what's going on in our own backyard. And there are two things that are very important to this administration. Number one, stopping the flow of illegal drugs into the United States of America, which we know has killed hundreds of thousands of Americans. The president promised on the campaign trail that he would demolish the foreign terrorist organizations and drug cartels around the world, especially right here in our own hemisphere, and you have seen that he is delivering on that promise. With respect to the oil and what happened yesterday, the Department of Justice requested and was approved for a warrant to seize a vessel because it's a sanctioned shadow vessel known for carrying black market sanctioned oil to the IRGC, which you know is a sanctioned entity. So the president is committed to stopping the illegal flow of drugs into our country. He's also fully committed to effectuating this administration's sanction policy, and that's what you saw and the world saw take place yesterday.
And because you said the president is trying to do a lot of things at once, he talks a lot about how he thinks the way to bring down prices for everything would be to bring down the cost of energy. Would he use this seized Venezuelan oil to try to help Americans with affordability here in the United States?
Well, what I can tell you right now, the vessel has been seized, as you know. And the Department of Justice did that in conjunction with the Coast Guard and the Department of War. The vessel is currently undergoing a forfeiture process right now. The United States currently has a full investigative team on the ground on the vessel, and individuals on board the vessel are being interviewed and any relevant evidence is being seized. With respect to the oil, that's a different issue. As you know, Peter, the vessel will go to a U.S. port, and the United States does intend to seize the oil. However, there is a legal process for the seizure of that oil, and that legal process will be followed.
And just my last one on this. If President Trump launches a bigger military campaign in the Caribbean, is he jeopardizing a possible Nobel Peace Prize?
Look, the president has proven over the past year that he is more than worthy of the Nobel Peace Prize. I think he's been nominated for it nearly 100 times this past year, which is definitely a record. He's solved, I think, 9 conflicts around the world. We are up to now. He's actively working on the Russia-Ukraine war, which is the big one as we speak, and has been over the past year. With respect to any additional action in Venezuela, I'm definitely not going to get ahead of the president or the United States military. Mary.
It now seems all but certain that the Obamacare subsidies will expire at the end of the year. It means more than 20 million Americans are now bracing for their health care costs to soar. Is the president prepared to let this happen, or is he going to step in?
The president is prepared to take action on health care, and he wants Republicans on the Hill to do the same. As you have seen, Senate Republicans put forth their own legislation earlier this week. As for the subsidies that are set to expire, I would like to remind you and everybody at home why this is on the brink of happening. Democrats wrote Obamacare. They passed it without a single Republican vote, and then they ballooned it with these expensive COVID subsidies that completely distorted the health insurance market. And then they doubled down, extending those subsidies and setting their own expiration date right now in 2025, which the administration is obviously well aware of, and we are working. The president is working with his healthcare policy team here at the White House, as well as Republicans on Capitol Hill, to find a solution.
You said he's working to find a solution. He wants to see a solution to lower health care costs.
He does.
But these subsidies are expiring at the end of the year. So what is the plan, and what is he going to do to put this in place in the next 2-3 weeks?
You'll hear more from the president and from the White House on that very soon. As for wanting a solution to lower healthcare costs, I'm glad you said it, because the president is doing just that. He has made unprecedented progress towards lowering healthcare costs in this country and drug prices. He's secured numerous most favored nation drug price deals, with many more to come. As you know, the One Big Beautiful Bill, the working family tax cut, significantly expanded access to health savings accounts for those on Obamacare. Again, a Democrat written program and approved program, which has led to higher healthcare costs in this country. So it goes back to the issue of affordability. Democrats are now pretending they want a solution to this issue, but they created the problem. The president and Republicans are currently coming up with creative solutions and ideas to lower healthcare costs for the American people, and you'll continue to hear more from them on that.
Before these subsidies expire?
I just said you're going to continue to hear more from the president and Republicans on this issue, I'm sure. Sure, Bloomberg, go ahead.
Thanks, Caroline. The president said he was going to be holding a call with the leaders of Thailand and Cambodia official yet. Have those calls taken place? Is there a readout you can share?
The president has not yet engaged in those calls, and when he does, I'm sure you'll hear from him directly, as you always do, after foreign leader calls or from somebody here at the White House. I do know, with respect to the conflict in the peace deal in Thailand and Cambodia and some of the conflicts you've seen arise, reports of that in the press over the past couple of days. The president addressed it in Pennsylvania. The administration is obviously tracking this at the highest levels and is very much engaged. I spoke with Secretary Rubio about it this morning.
And will senior U.S. officials be meeting Saturday with European and Ukrainian officials to discuss the peace plan?
Look, the United States and the Trump administration continues to be very much engaged in trying to bring the Russia-Ukraine war to an end. The president had a call with Europeans yesterday. His special envoy Witkoff and his team continue to talk with both sides literally as we speak. If there is a real chance of signing a peace agreement, if we feel like those meetings are worthy of someone on the United States' time this weekend, then we will send a representative. It's still up in the air whether we believe real peace can be accomplished and we can truly move the ball forward. The president is extremely frustrated with both sides of this war, and he is sick of meetings just for the sake of meeting. He doesn't want any more talk. He wants action. He wants this war to come to an end. And the administration has spent more than 30 hours, just in the past couple of weeks, meeting with the Russians and the Ukrainians and the Europeans and speaking with them as well. So we'll see about the meetings this weekend, and stay tuned.
President read President Zelensky's latest proposal that was sent over yesterday.
He's aware of it, yes. Ed.
Thanks, Caroline. So the Fed chairman, the president says that he's interviewing candidates. So I just want to be clear. So the pick has not been locked in. And could we get an announcement before Christmas?
I know every business outlet in the world is just chomping at the bit for a scoop or something on this Fed chair announcement. I'm not going to get ahead of the president. I know there's been a lot of reports about potential meetings this week with potential candidates. Look, as always, this is a decision the president himself is going to make. And I know there's a lot of reporting out there from anonymous sources who claim to know something. I would wait and see what the president himself does and announces, and I certainly won't be the one to get ahead of him on that.
On the economy, can I ask you about it?
Michael, go ahead.
On the next Fed chair, does the president have an expectation that his pick will lower interest rates next year to his liking?
I think the president has been quite clear about what he believes the Fed should be doing, which is lowering interest rates. I know there was a quarter-point reduction this past week, and the president was pleased to see that, but he thinks more should be done. Philip.
Thank you, Caroline. On these advanced NVIDIA H200 chips, why is the president willing to allow China to have access to one of America's chief technological advantages?
Look, I will tell you just a couple of things. The president put out his own statement on this, which I do think highlights his exact thinking. What you see from the president on Truth Social is most of the time what you hear from the president behind closed doors privately. He told President Xi that NVIDIA will only be shipping H200 products to approved customers in China under conditions that will allow for continued strong national security. The administration continues to maintain a strict export control regime, and we are ensuring that the Blackwell chip and other advanced technologies stay right here in America, and these H200 chips will only be sent to China after undergoing a security inspection here in the United States. Elizabeth.
Thank you, Caroline. New York City Mayor elect Zoran Mondani put out a video recently telling immigrants in New York City they have the right to stand up to ICE. Are you concerned this will inspire New York City residents to resist ICE operations, and what will the Trump administration do if this happens?
The Trump administration is definitely concerned about the rise in violence and attacks and physical threats that we have seen against our brave men and women who wear the ICE uniform. Again, these are agents who are just simply doing their jobs. They are enforcing our nation's immigration laws, and we've seen more than a 1,000% increase in violent attacks on them and their families. They've been doxxed, they've been harassed, many of them have been physically assaulted and attacked. So we condemn that wholeheartedly. I know the administration has done a lot to protect our ICE agents, and the president stands firmly behind them in conducting these enforcement operations. And there's a lot of talk from Democrat politicians in New York, but the Trump administration will continue to do our jobs in every state, and that's to remove illegal aliens and public safety threats from American communities. Sure.
Thank you.
I'll go to the gentleman who's very eager, and then to you.
Thank you so much. Obviously, Jasmine Crockett, who the president has openly criticized, just entered Texas' Senate race. I asked Mike Johnson, who said that Texas largely supports the president. Crockett, on the other hand, says that Trump is an example of extremism. She says that her support is a referendum on Trump. I'm curious to get your thoughts on this. And has Trump made any statements since she's announced her candidacy?
Not to my knowledge, as you know, from the White House podium. As a government employee, I'm not privy to comment on future elections, but I do think the president has made his thoughts on Ms. Crockett quite clear, and I do believe he thinks she is wholly unqualified for the office that she is seeking. Joey.
Yeah, thanks, Caroline. A federal judge today ordered the immediate release of Kilmar Abrego Garcia from ICE detention. Does the White House have a response to that, and does the administration plan to appeal that decision?
Absolutely. The White House, the administration, opposed this activism from a judge who is really acting as a judicial activist, which we've unfortunately seen in many cases across the country. Abrego Garcia is present in our country illegally. He is a proven human trafficker. He is a proven gang member. The administration has evidence of that. And as you saw from the Department of Homeland Security, they issued a statement saying they'll continue to fight this legal battle in court. Caitlin.
Two questions. I have one on Venezuela to follow up, but first on affordability, since we were talking about the economy at the beginning. If the economy is as strong as the president has said it is, then why is he telling parents 2 weeks before Christmas that they should only buy 2 or 3 dolls for their children?
Look, what the president is saying is that if we want products made right here in America, if we want them to be made from American small businesses, which is a large part of the reason the president has effectively implemented tariffs, then we're going to have better quality products right here in the United States. Maybe you'll pay $1 or $2 more, but you will get better quality and you'll be supporting your fellow Americans by buying American, and that's what the president was saying. Again, with respect to affordability, every economic metric, Caitlin, and I wish you would report more on it, does in fact show that the economy is getting better and brighter than where it was under the previous administration. I will repeat, inflation as measured by the overall CPI has slowed to an average 2.5% pace. Real wages are increasing, roughly $1,200 for the average worker. Gas prices are down in almost every single state across the country. Again, in 22 states, it's below $2.75. You look at the tax cuts; those are going to go into effect next year. So the best is yet to come. The president is digging our country out of the economic hole that the previous administration put us in, and that's what he's talking about.
It was a year ago, as you know, and grocery prices have been up. So we've covered the economy, but there's mixed signals in terms of what that looks like. But on
inflation is down from where it was. As measured by the overall CPI, it has slowed to an average 2.5% pace. This is down from what the president inherited. The president inherited 2.9% in January. Today it's at
grocery prices have been up. So we've covered the economy, but there's mixed signals in terms of what that looks like. But on
inflation is down from where it was. As measured by the overall CPI, it has slowed to an average 2.5% pace. This is down from what the president inherited. The president inherited 2.9% in January. Today it's at about 2.5%. So we're trending in the right direction with more to come. And I would remind you, when President Trump left office in his first term, inflation was 1.7%. And the previous administration jacked it up to a record high 9%. So again, in 10 months, the president has clawed us out of this hole. He's kept it low at 2.5%, and we believe that number is going to continue to decline, especially as energy and oil prices continue to decline as well.
It wasn't high under Biden. They're just saying it's not.
Well, nobody reported on it being high under Biden. My predecessor was standing at this podium, but now you want to ask me a lot of questions about it, which I'm happy to answer, but I will just add, there's a lot more scrutiny on this issue from this press corps than there was. Well, in the previous administration said that too. My predecessor stood up at this podium and she said inflation doesn't exist. She said the border was secure, and people like you just took her at her word, and those were two utter lies. Everything I'm telling you is the truth backed by real factual data, and you just don't want to report on it because you want to push untrue narratives about the president. Go ahead.
My follow-up question on Venezuela, Caroline.
I'm not going to take your follow-up. Go ahead.
Is the White House optimistic about the upcoming redistricting vote in Indiana and what happens if it fails?
We'll see how the vote plays out. That's a political matter and, frankly, a legal one, and I won't comment on it here. Brian.
Thank you, Caroline. I'm going to go back to the Fed. I have two topics I just want to address with you. The first one on the Fed.
The president did say yesterday that he was meeting with Kevin Warsh.
This is your favorite story in the world, Brian.
It is our favorite story. The president said yesterday he was meeting with Kevin Warsh to talk about the Fed chair, interview for a Fed chair role. Can you just say how that interview went with him?
I won't comment on private meetings without the president's approval to do so.
And the second thing is on the Netflix Warner Brothers deal. The president did address this also yesterday. He said that he believes that the sale of CNN should be attached to that deal with Netflix or with Paramount if anything happens down the road with them. Can you just explain what the president's planning to do going forward to continue to make that case similar to what he made yesterday?
Well, I think the president's comments yesterday about the sale of CNN and new leadership is evidenced by my exchange with the CNN reporter in this room. Their viewership has gone down, their ratings has declined, and I think the president rightfully believes that network would benefit from new ownership. With respect to this deal, he has great respect for both companies who are bidding against one another, and I won't weigh in any further than that. In the back, go ahead.
Thank you.
I wasn't calling on either of you, but I'll take both your questions and then to you. Go ahead.
I have two questions. One is South Korea, one on the Japan. First question, the recent U.S.-South Korea trade fact sheet made no mention of agricultural product. Does the United States want to completely open its rice and beef market to South Korea? And second question on Japan. China is using its military power to surround Okinawa, Japan. Is the United States concerned about the military conflict between China and Japan? And what action will the United States take?
Okay. To your first question on South Korean beef export to South Korea, I will check with our trade team and we will get you an answer on that. To your second question with respect to Japan and China, the president has a phenomenal relationship with the new Prime Minister of Japan, as you know. He was pleased to meet her when we went to Asia a couple of months ago, and they have spoken a few times since. They continue to be engaged with one another, and Japan is a great ally of the United States, as evidenced by their personal relationship and our continued trade relations with Japan. With respect to China, the president also has a good working relationship with President Xi, which he believes is a good thing for our country, and he believes that the United States should be in a position to have a good working relationship with China while maintaining our very strong alliance with Japan. Go ahead.
Yesterday, President Trump was speaking about drug production in Colombia. He said that the president of Colombia better wise up or he's gonna be next. What was he meaning exactly? And the other thing is that President Gustavo Petro of Colombia responded to that statement by issuing a formal invitation to President Trump to go to Colombia and to see firsthand how the authorities in Colombia are fighting against drugs. Do you think that President Trump would consider that?
Well, that's very interesting. I hadn't heard the news about that invitation. I will let the president speak directly to it on whether or not that's something he would entertain. But as for his comments yesterday towards President Petro, he has been saying some very alarming and frankly insulting things towards the United States of America, and the president doesn't like it. Yes, in the blue.
Karoline?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. The president's been spotted out and about a number of times with bandages on his hands. Could you please explain what that is about? Secondly, he noted on Truth Social the other day that he had aced 3 cognitive tests. Could you please clarify when those tests took place?
I can do that at a later date. I obviously don't have that in front of me. The president has spoken about that quite extensively throughout the years. As for the bandages on the hand, we've also given you an explanation for that in the past. The president is literally constantly shaking hands. The Oval Office is like Grand Central Terminal. He is meeting with more people than any of you even know about on a daily basis. He's also on a daily aspirin regimen, which is something his physical examinations has said in the past as well, which can contribute to that bruising that you see.
Thank you, Caroline. Back to that oil tanker, just wanted to know, was this a one-off, or is it safe to say the administration is taking a more active look at the oil industry in Venezuela, whether targeting other oil ships or perhaps Venezuelan oil production facilities in Venezuela?
Well, I won't broadcast any future actions from the administration, but I will just reiterate that the Trump administration is executing on the president's sanction policies and the sanction policies of the United States, and we're not going to stand by and watch sanctioned vessels sail the seas with black market oil, the proceeds of which will fuel narco-terrorism of rogue and illegitimate regimes around the world. Andrew?
Thank you, Caroline. Two for you. First, when the president announced the farm relief program the other day, Secretary Rollins afterwards, right out there, told us that the program would be paid for by the Commodity Credit Corporation, an existing program. The president keeps saying that it's being paid for by tariff revenue. Why does he keep saying that if the secretary who's running the program says that's not the case? And also about his doll comments from the other night. The president's a billionaire. He's probably the wealthiest person to ever serve as president. Is it a good look for him to be telling parents, oh, you should only buy, $2 or $3 dolls for your kids when he's one of the wealthiest people in the country running the government?
Do you think the people in that room in Pennsylvania who the president was speaking to don't know the president's a billionaire? I think that's a very well-established fact. And actually, I think it's one of the many reasons they reelected him back to this office, because he's a businessman who understands the economy and knows how to fix it. And he's doing it right now just like he did in his first term. Sure, go ahead. To the gentleman behind you, Andrew, yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you, Caroline. On Gaza, we heard the president say yesterday that the Board of Peace members are going to be announced early next year. What is the administration doing to move the parties in the region closer toward phase 2 of his peace plan for Gaza?
Sure. Well, first of all, I would be remiss if I didn't highlight what a success it is that 10 months into the president's administration, you're asking me about a peace plan in Gaza, because that's a legitimate reality on the ground right now in the region. And it's only because of this president's leadership that that was able to take place, that all the living hostages were returned. All but one body of the deceased hostages has been returned, and we're still, of course, working on the last one. As for this next phase of the peace process, there is a lot of quiet planning that's going on behind the scenes right now for phase 2 of the peace deal. And when the United States is ready to make those announcements public on the Board of Peace, the ISF, and the Palestinian technocratic government, we will be making those announcements at the appropriate time. But the reason that, the negotiators and the teams on the ground have been rather quiet about this is because I spoke with them this morning. They are trying to be deliberate and thoughtful about this. Peace in Gaza, in the Palestinian Strip, is something, the Gaza Strip rather, is something that people have been trying to accomplish for 70 years. So, this is a complex problem, and this administration wants to be very thoughtful about it, and we want to ensure an enduring and lasting peace. And when those announcements are ready, they will be made. Sure.
Thank you. There have been reports that Vladimir Putin called Maduro today to reaffirm his support. I wanted to ask if it is concerning to the president that Putin has given such a warm embrace to Maduro.
I don't think that would be concerning to the president at all, no. I'll let him speak on it further.
Spoken to Putin about that?
He has not spoken to President Putin today, and I understand that call took place this morning, so the answer is no.
Thanks. I have a question about the ACA, but just first very quickly clarifying Caitlin's question. You acknowledged that CPI in January when you took office was 3%, and in September, the last month for which we have data, it was also 3%, so inflation...
No, it's 2.5%.
Not in September, it was 3%.
It's 2.5%, the average CPI right now. I have it in front of me. In President Trump's first 8 months in office, inflation as measured by the overall consumer price index has slowed to a 2.5 average pace. This is down from the 2.9% inherited in January.
So January is 1 month.
In the back.
Okay, can I ask you about the ACA really quickly? There are a number of plans that are floating around on the Hill right now having to do with these premium subsidies that are about to expire. Which plan does the White House support?
Again, I have told you now a few times that the president and the Republicans will continue to unveil creative ideas and solutions to the healthcare crisis that was created by Democrats. And I know Chuck Schumer is putting up a vote today. This is a political show vote. Chuck Schumer is not sincerely interested in lowering healthcare costs for the American people. He's putting this vote on the floor knowing that it will fail so he can have another talking point that he can throw around without any real plan or action. If Chuck Chuck Schumer actually wanted to lower healthcare costs, I'm sure the president would welcome him and his entire Democrat caucus to a legitimate coordination on the president's policies of bringing down drug prices, these most favored nation deals. Why hasn't Chuck Schumer ever come out in support of those? Those are going to legitimately, they already are, lower drug prices for the American people, and not a word from Chuck Schumer on it. So I think that just proves this is completely political. Kelly, go ahead.
Two quick buttons on Venezuela. Does the president consider the seizure of the oil tanker an escalation or a step towards war with Venezuela?
I think the president considers the seizure of the oil tanker as effectuating the administration's sanction policies, which I've already discussed previously.
Potential invasion or potential land strikes in Venezuela aligned with the president's supporters, the MAGA base, does it risk the potential for a prolonged war and U.S. troops involved in that?
Prolonged war is definitely not something this president is interested in. He's been very clear about that. He wants peace. He also wants to see the end of illegal drugs being trafficked into the United States and taking the lives of hundreds of thousands of Americans across our country. And he's thinking about that every day here at the White House. With every drug boat that is taken out by this administration, we are saving thousands of lives by deterring those drugs and stopping those drugs from flowing into our country. You will all, excuse me, you'll all hear, excuse me, you will all see the president tonight. He'll be making remarks at the Congressional Christmas Ball, which will be taking place here at the White House. And later this afternoon, he will be signing some congressional bills and executive orders that we, as always, will keep you apprised of. Thanks, guys.
Can you say what about the call with Modi?
Karoline Leavitt there, leaving the podium.
Well, she seems like she has a cold too and is over this crap from these people, the press, the Democrats. I'm convinced. I don't say I hope I'm wrong, but I really wouldn't like it to actually have to happen, but it's going to happen. You get yourself ready for President Trump to drop the hammer with either some form of martial law, Insurrection Act, Andrew Jackson. It's going to happen. It has to happen. They let Kilmar Obrega out today. And, well, try to. From what Karoline says, they are going to obviously try to appeal and maybe keep him in jail while they appeal, instead of just getting him on a plane and getting him out of here. But these people have no desire to work with President Trump. They have no desire whatsoever to try and understand where we need to be as a country. They don't care. They've already made up their minds. Here, let me show you this something even further that will underscore that happened while she was talking.
Okay, so it's happened. The health care bill, remember there are two. This is a test vote today. And in the U.S. Senate, the Republican version of that has failed. Now, here's the thing to know about this. All right? Republicans were chided by Democrats just a week or so ago. You don't have a plan. You don't have a plan. You don't have a plan. You know what's great? Not only do they have a plan, they're voting on it. 51 yeas to 48 nays, and it needed 60 to pass. Next vote is on Dems and their plan. Now, what does this mean? If there are two plans, maybe they can work together and get to the middle. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, they'll see. 51 to 48 needed 60 means it's never going to happen, which is what the Democrats want. They don't want to see a plan. And in case you don't know, the plan that was put forth by the Republicans was for the government to give the people the money. Let the people decide where they want to go and what doctors they want to use and what insurance they're going to buy. Let the people do it. Democrats don't want that. They want to make sure they control the money. It's all about money control. It's all about keeping people in line. There are a couple people earlier I'm looking side-eye at who had a problem that we were talking about prosperity. Well, what you're seeing happen in Congress right now is why the brainwashing has worked. There are so many people who are like, let the government take care of it. Not me. I ain't in for it. So let me go ahead and I'm going to take a break and then we'll get back into the show.
Hey everybody, Barry has a couple things to let you know about. Fanfare is giving away a free fishing trip. We're going to fly you and a guest down to South Florida for a 3-day, 2-night getaway. You'll go on a deep-sea fishing trip with Robin. And Barry and Robin will take you and your guest out to dinner. To enter to win, go to fanfareshop.org/fishing. It's easy and it's free to enter. Second, if you'd like to join our private group on X, go to fanfareshop.org/group and join 18,000 fellow patriots. It's a safe space for patriots as it's curated and moderated. Again, that's fanfareshop.org/group. One more thing, if you'd like to be a part of the show, submit a 60-second video by going to fanfareshop.org/submit video. Last, but certainly not least, if you'd like to request a free Bible, please go to fanfareshop.org/Bible. We have a long list, but we're getting them out as soon as we can. Again, that's fanfareshop.org/Bible. Thanks for being a part of the Fanfare family. Now back to the show.
It's genius. It's pure genius. America is the country that started the AI race. And as President of the United States, I'm here today to declare that America is going to win it. We're going to work hard. We're going to win it.
Why do so many financial experts call silver the most undervalued asset today? Because silver is essential to the future, from solar tech and electric vehicles to the explosive growth of artificial intelligence. Demand is rising fast, and yet silver is still trading at a bargain. With billions pouring into AI, silver prices have only one place to go, and that's up. In fact, silver may be the most overlooked asset class in financial planning. The opportunity for silver is well documented. The market for silver could double or even triple by 2026. You see, I believe in hard assets like this bar of silver. You can hold it in your hand, you can put it in your IRA, you can put it in your home safe, and relative to gold, it's very affordable. That's why I urge you to call my friends at Lear Capital and get their free report, The AI Revolution, and see why silver prices could be set to soar. Call 800-601-5430 or go to learberry.com. But don't wait. We all know. We've seen it. The government can print lots and lots of dollars, but they can't print silver, which, as you know, is taking off. So we will be giving away some silver tonight, but as of right now, we're going to give away a trip down here to South Florida to go fishing. So what we're going to do is we're going to choose the winner. We're going to give this winner, let's say right now it's Thursday at 2 o'clock. We'll give this person until Saturday morning at 9 a.m. to claim their prize. If no, and just so you guys all know, if the name we're going to choose right now, if they do not claim their prize before 9 a.m. Saturday, we're going to do another one on Monday. So I don't want anybody to come back on Monday and go, I didn't see it. Well, I'm giving you Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You have your chance to respond. And Monday, we're going to pick somebody else. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to pick a name right now from the nearly 9,000 people that signed up. We're going to give you a trip. We're going to pay for your airfare from wherever you are. You're going to get flown into South Florida, probably into Fort Lauderdale, actually. And then you're going to get put up in a hotel. And then Robin and I and Ashley, if she comes down, we're going to take you out to dinner. And then you're going to go fishing. And when you go fishing, hope you don't get seasick, because there's no turning around out there. You might be yakking off the side of a boat. We'll take pictures and show everybody, maybe in some video. So make sure you got your sea legs about you, because the water during this time of year is kind of calm, but it can get kind of bumpy. And if it gets bumpy out there and you start turning green, can't turn back. So without further ado, let's go ahead and pick this name. This name will be for two people, that person and a guest. So I have a different software that I use for that. I hope it doesn't show people's personal information, but I'm doing it live right now so you can see it. So it says choose the winner, and we're going to choose the winner. That says the winners selected will automatically be added to your winners list. Proceed. Yes, bang, chicka-lacka-lacka bang, loading, and who is the winner? Am I going to have to go to a different screen? And there it is. The winner, the name is, oops, BJ Scott. I'm gonna go ahead and just tell you that because I don't want anyone to oh, there we go. I did it that way. BJ Scott, you have won. You had only a 7% chance, and somebody named BJ Scott has won. So what'll happen now is Ashley will send BJ Scott some information, and BJ Scott will have until Monday to let us know whether they want to go and take the trip. BJ Scott has a, might be local. I'm not sure. Tell you what, if BJ, based upon the information here, if BJ is indeed local and doesn't require flights, then I will pick another one on Monday. Because BJ's number is 305, which is here in Miami-Dade County, unless he has a 305 but moved to Chicago. But a 305 number means that BJ is probably local, and if he's here in South Florida, we'll get he and his guest, or she and his, I don't know if BJ might be a woman, but we'll get BJ Scott and their guest, and if they don't have to fly in, they may not need the hotel, and we'll pick another couple on Monday. So, BJ Scott, you are proverbially on the clock. Congratulations. Hopefully we will be able to get in touch with BJ, and it'll be a ton of fun. As you know, Robin loves to fish. I don't go. I get sick out there. I'll be the first to admit it. I'm a landlubber. I can't do that kind of stuff. But BJ, hope you confirm, and if you confirm, we'll go ahead and get you on a boat. So, is that person in here? Seems like somebody knows. BJ Scott, Brochacho. Maximus says Brochacho. Congratulations to BJ Scott. Now, those of you guys who didn't win, like I said, if BJ is from here and it doesn't require airfare, I'll go ahead and pick somebody else and we'll bring them in as well. So, BJ, you're on the clock, brother. On the clock. All right, so let's continue with today's show. Let me see, what do I have here? Oh, looks like we've got the... I got something interesting for you. I might have to have a little of a detour. They allowed the cameras to go on in the court where Charlie Kirk's killer, alleged killer, is making an appearance.
Courthouse going into the Sally Port, and a massive armored vehicle in the middle of that caravan, who we can assume was perhaps Mr. Robinson being delivered to this courthouse. Some of the doors are zip tied, so all types of measures being taken to make sure that this proceeding happens safely and securely today. Now, on the docket today, perhaps one of the most important issues, there was an October 24th hearing in which Judge Graff determined Robinson will be allowed to wear civilian clothing in court, as you see on your screen right now, but he has to remain shackled. Now, also in that October 24th hearing, general security measures and other issues of fairness in this trial were discussed in a closed portion that both the defense and prosecution requested remain private. The judge here granted the request that portions of that October 24th hearing be sealed, but then an attorney for the media coalition here intervened and asked that the transcript be made public, arguing in part that keeping it sealed is creating an impression of unfairness and secrecy, even though that whole thing may have been fair. So today the judge may unseal some of that October 24th hearing, and we will find out what was discussed, and also that is, perhaps setting precedent in this case, what the media and the public is going to have access to moving forward. We'll keep you updated, John and Sandra.
All right, Matt Finn setting the table for us this afternoon as we await this hearing getting underway. Sandra?
All right, John, so let's bring in Donna Rotano, Josh Ritter, and Jonathan Turley, all our Fox News contributors. Welcome to you. Jonathan, as we've been watching these...
I'm not sure why Fox is so behind, but the judges come in.
On behalf of Mr. Robinson.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Jeff Hunt and David Ryman appearing on behalf of the media interveners that are identified in our motion papers.
Good afternoon.
Michael Judd, Your Honor, Parsons, Bailey, and Latimer, on behalf of another set of media interveners also identified in the briefs.
Good afternoon, and I recognize Mr. Robinson in the courtroom as well. Good afternoon. And for the benefit of the record, calling case 251-403-576, State of Utah versus Tyler James Robinson. Council, as we're moving forward today, I want to give an overview of what we anticipate doing. And it comes down, we're addressing three issues. The first is the October 14th, 2025 audio recording of the closed hearing and the October 24th, 2025 transcript of that hearing. The second is the state's motion to amend or clarify the publicity order, commonly known or referred to as the gag order. And finally, the motion for limited intervention and request for notice of motions to close, seal, or reclassify, and which has been filed by the media organizations and by council who are present today. So as we begin, the first part is we'll begin by addressing the October 14th audio recording and the October 24th transcript. This portion of the hearing will be closed so that I may hear from the parties regarding which portions of the recording, the record should remain sealed. All members of the public and the press will be excused, and the hearing will not be broadcast. This is because I need to hear what should or should not be sealed or protected, and it would not benefit to have everyone listen to what should be sealed. And so after I've heard argument, we will invite all parties or the public and the media to come back in, and the hearing will resume transmission. We will then take up the motion for limited intervention, followed by the state's motion to amend or clarify the publicity order. These portions, the last two portions, will be open to the public and to the press. After hearing argument on all three matters, I will take a brief recess and then return to issue my ruling today. We will then stand in recess. So at this point, we'll go ahead and excuse the public and the media, and it is the court's order that transmission be terminated temporarily.
Your Honor, we have one request with respect to the closed hearing. May I be heard on that?
Yes, counsel.
Thank you. Richard Novak for Mr. Robinson. Mr. Robinson has some immediate family members who are present, his father, his mother, and his brother, and we would ask the court to permit them to remain in the courtroom during the closed portion of the hearing.
To the state.
My only concern with that, Your Honor, is that we're going to be talking about court security measures. And I don't know that we'll have to go into a lot of detail about that, but I do have concerns about those issues being discussed in public.
All right. Mr. Novak, do you have authority that supports allowing them to remain in a closed hearing?
No, I think it's subject to the court's discretion to decide who is and is not an appropriate member of the public. I think they have a unique relationship with Mr. Robinson, and they would certainly abide by any orders the court makes concerning disclosure of what is discussed in closed session. But obviously, it's up to the court.
Thank you, Mr. Novak. I'm going to rule that they will be excluded as well. It is just given the nature and the sensitivity of it, I believe it is appropriate to treat all parties in the public equally, though I do recognize their relationship with Mr. Robinson. Thank you for your request. All right, we will go into the closed session. Thank you.
All right, so that was interesting. All right, so as you heard, the family wanted to stay in there. The prosecution said, we don't even want them in here because we're going to be discussing some sensitive stuff, and some of that sensitive stuff might involve security. So it sounds like this is under extreme security. They brought the guy in an armored vehicle, and now they're going to do this limited hearing to talk about something that happened in October, and then they'll come back and allow it live. So if we're still on when they're done with the preliminary hearing or whatever, then I will take it live again. Excuse me. So as of right now, they are in closed session. I have the video up, so when it comes back on, if I'm still on, we will jump to it. If not, then I won't be here. So in any event, let's continue with what I was talking about. I'll keep a close eye on what's about to happen in this preliminary hearing. And, let's listen to what Fox is. I couldn't believe Fox was behind for some reason. Looks like they're about one minute.
And they would certainly abide by any orders the court makes concerning.
So they're behind. We already heard this. All right. So if and when it comes back on, if we're still on, we'll take it. So let's continue with what we were talking about. By the way, before I continue, I do want to show you something because it's this is breaking news. We're going to see Libnuts just go absolutely bat poop crazy. The United States is preparing to seize more oil tankers off of the Venezuelan coast. This report was from 1:49 p.m., so we're talking about 15 minutes ago or so. It says the United States is preparing to seize more oil tankers off of Venezuela's coast as the Trump administration ramps up pressure on Maduro, with the matter told to Reuters. The development suggests that the White House is planning a broader campaign against Venezuelans' oil exports. The U.S. seized a tanker yesterday, as you know. The oil market has been focused on Ukraine peace talks and so far is not indicating a risk of major supply disruptions. So, that being said, we are about to see them escalate things. And what's interesting is that if you see that in the actual press, if the word has gone out that we're going to take more, they're probably already underway. Just to let you know, quick view, as of right now, the stock market has jumped 600 points. It's still at about 600. Let's see what gold is at. Gold was at 43, back down to 42.97. And where did the silver price as of right now? Because this stuff just keeps 64.63, dropped off a little bit from profit taking, obviously, but still up 4.67% in one day. All right, let's keep going.
Light is going back to, wow, we're really going back. Well, my records go back to 1992, and to find a smaller number than mine is 52 billion, we're all the way back to June of 2020. 236,000 is initial jobless claims. So the 190.
You can look at the chart of inflation over the last 50 years, right? And you'll see two big bumps. On top of those big bumps are Jimmy Carter and Joe Biden. And those cliffs that fall off are Ronald Reagan and Donald Trump. Your dollar is worth 20% less right now today because of 21% CPI inflation under Joe Biden. Your wages are $3,000 less because your average salary and your real American wages went down by $3,000. That's a Joe Biden thing.
It's amazing to me when I see these shows and you see the look on the libtards' faces. They can't admit truth. And then Abby, one of the hosts there on CNN, she always has to interrupt because they don't want that information coming out. They want their audience stupid. And as you saw during the press conference, here was Caitlin Collins carrying the water once again. And then over and over, we keep hearing about the damn dowels. President Trump said instead of buying 3 dowels, maybe buy 2 dowels. Well, the reason why he said that, and it was funny, Ashley texted me, it's like, do these people think budget is a bad word? Why is it that the government can tell you to tighten your belt, but if it's reinforced by the president or other people, it's a bad thing to say, tighten your belt? Well, how about the other side of things? As I said earlier, if you didn't have to respond by tightening your belt because you can't afford something, changing that script completely and make it so that you can afford something. The economic news, as I'm showing you, doesn't seem to align with what the media wants the message to be. I watch it constantly, as you saw. I have it open on my computer. I want to know what the Dow is. I want to know what silver is. I want to know what the NASDAQ is. There are certain stocks that I want to keep sure, want to see what their position is. I'm not looking at dowels. I'm not looking at what the government's going to give me. And I understand there are people who are on fixed incomes. That's not what I'm talking about. I understand you've worked your entire life and you are at the position you are. And that may not change. And I'm completely have empathy for that. I'm talking for those of you guys who can chase the puck and go to where the puck is going. Unfortunately, the government for the last 40, 50 years has pretty much corralled people into keeping them in a certain box. But if you're not in that box, or you have the capability of getting out of that box, what President Trump is showing you is seize the opportunity.
We need to make sure that the Republicans are putting out there what it is that we are for. And we are for putting more money in the pockets of the American people so they can make their decisions about their health care coverage, instead of giving it to the insurance companies, paid for by the taxpayers, with no income limits, so people make $500,000, $600,000 a year, having their health insurance subsidized by people who are making $40,000 or $50,000 a year. That's what the Democrat proposal does. And there are $0 premiums. A lot of people have no idea they're even covered, so the insurance companies auto-enroll them because they're incentivized to do that. And so the costs keep going up, insurance premiums keep going up in the individual marketplace on the Obama exchanges. That's got to stop. What we're going to do today, Dana, is put a proposal on the floor that the Congressional Budget Office actually has determined reduces by double digits insurance premiums. That's what this ought to be about. If it's really about affordability, let's focus on affordability and driving down insurance premiums. What the Democrats are doing is continuing to drive them up and giving the money to the insurance companies.
I feel like in March of 2010, when Obamacare passed, there were a few people around who said this, in several years, will be the outcome. And here we are.
Exactly. Obamacare was never supposed to be affordable. The Affordable Care Act, it was never going to be affordable. If it was affordable, it wouldn't need your money. That was a messaging that they put out there. And now, if you don't want other Americans to pay somebody else's bills, then you're bad. When I don't think it should be that way. Again, if you have certain issues, but why can't we all pay our own damn bills? They never want to say that.
Very clear about one thing. When the Democrats talk about health care affordability, okay, this catchphrase that they have, they are talking about one thing and one thing only. They are talking about continuing handouts to big insurance companies. They have no ideas, they have no desire to fix the broken system they created. They just want to subsidize it. And subsidy is a big word. It means they're taking taxpayer dollars and funding a broken system.
That is the entirety of the Democrat ideology. They don't want a prosperous America. It is the end of them. If people can afford to do their own thing and don't rely on the government for food and bus passes and everything else, which is different than Social Security. Social Security is money of yours. There is nothing wrong. People try to say that Social Security is an entitlement program. It's actually welfare. If you like Social Security, then you are socialist. No, it's your money. They took it out of your paycheck every single week or 2 weeks or whatever, forever, and then promised you something at the end. And people are looking at this thing and going, that's what I'm getting? Meanwhile, you got people from other countries coming here, getting houses, getting all kinds of things, and they expect you to have to pay for it. The Democrats can't win. There is no way they can win if you can't get, and when I'm talking about win, I'm talking about 2026, 2028. The local stuff is just stupid. It's people just being lazy, not paying attention, and understanding. They are going to basically activate for the smallest office anywhere. They want to take everything they possibly can. And they will do it if people don't show up. But on the national level, that's not going to happen. Without having the newcomers, without having the carrot of say we're going to pay you, they can't win. And that's why they're freaking out.
That is their entire affordability agenda in a nutshell. This agenda does not lower health care costs. All it does is hide the cost of the failed law, which we assume is the point. And their proposal, which is a 3-year extension of these enhanced subsidies, the Democrat COVID subsidies that they created, that they put the expiration date on for this December, that proposal to extend that for 3 years is devoid of any reforms to clamp down on the rampant waste, fraud, and abuse. And it continues to provide taxpayer-subsidized health care to Americans who are making hundreds of thousands of dollars in annual salary. It doesn't make any sense. Now,
this is one of the reasons why I keep talking about Insurrection Act and all the things around it. Nothing's going to happen. You're going to find out after Christmas, and they're back in talking in January about the government shutting down again, and we're going to dance to the same song all over again. And we're going to see Mike Johnson have press conferences, and John Thune have press conferences, and Hakeem Jeffries have press conferences, and what's the other one? Chuck Schumer having press conferences, yada, 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 yada. Nothing is going to happen unless we pull the ripcord, unless we nuke the filibuster. It's not going to change. Then we will lose in 2026. Then we will lose in 2028. They are not going to give up. They are going to keep coming at us. They're going to keep trying to take us out. I'm going to show that to you in a little while. So the only tool we have to save America as we know it is to kill and nuke the filibuster. There is nothing else that's going to stop it. And people have to begin understanding, well, if the Democrats get back in power, they're going to do it to us. That's the idea. They'll never get back in power. I don't know what we're waiting for. Well, I think I know what we're waiting for. I think, if I were to guess, and you'll hear it tonight when I'm talking to Alpha Warrior, I think we're just waiting. I think it's too soon to do what he needs to do, because it gives them time to recover. I mean, if by July and August we're not seeing the ripcord being pulled, it's concerning. Because at that point, John Thune, you got to do it. There's no excuse. Trust me, watch yourself. Nothing is going to happen, definitely not before Christmas. And then right after they get back from Christmas, then here they go all over again, doing the dance to the crazy music about trying to not stop the government shutdown, which they absolutely want. And after the last shutdown, where they now feel that it was the Republicans' fault, or the perception was it was the Republicans' fault, they're going to be even more apt to make sure the government shuts down. So what you need to do, you now need to, especially if you're in a government job, you better know that puck is over there where they're going to shut it down again in January. So get ready for it. Do what you need to do. That storm is coming. It has to come. And right now we're like this. Either we do it or they're going to do it. I mean, there's no other two things about it. We're not going to get 60 votes on anything. Anything. Maybe. Well, no, there's one thing that would get 60 votes if they wanted to raise their salaries. That would probably be 100 to nothing. Other than that, they're not going to get 60 votes.
I do want to make sure that I cover one other thing that the chairman spoke about. He specifically said that he's concerned about the fraud. He's not giving us numbers, but I can give you some numbers. If we're concerned about how much money it may be costing us because systems are not perfect. We have no perfect systems. We have always had some level of fraud in anything that we have, because there's no such thing as perfection walking on this earth.
Meanwhile, for over a decade, I've been exposing egregious Washington waste with my monthly Squeal Awards. Some examples are too outrageous to believe. I'm talking about bureaucrats approving PPP loans for applicants who used pictures of dolls for IDs.
Some of you guys just went, what? What just happened? What did you just say, Joni? Dolls? Was President Trump laying the groundwork to this to be talked about? I saw this and I went, oh, hell no. Did he do it again? Did he sit in the Oval Office and talk about dowels and get the media to be talking about dowels? And then all of a sudden, it's dowels that they're stealing the money for. I know somebody just went, no, that just didn't happen. I just didn't hear a congressional hearing about dowels. Even when Ashley texted me, I didn't want to even say to her, why do they keep talking about dowels? Because they talked about it because he said it. And now she's out here talking about how they use dowels to defraud America.
Imagine giving Barbie or Ken a taxpayer-funded loan. Not only that, but they also believe folks claiming to be over 115 years old were alive and well enough to be approved for 3,095 PPP and EIDL loans worth $333 million.
I can't make this stuff up. You literally couldn't have Spielberg or Neil Simon make this up. There's no way that was by accident. Oh yeah, buy less dowels. Oh, we're going to talk about dowels. Hey, here's $3 gazillion we're spending on dowels. The dude is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Say something, get them talk about it, drop the hammer. Now what you gonna do?
Including $36,000 to a 157-year-old. That's pure hogwash. But this is only the tip of the iceberg. Instead of boosting Main Street, millions of your tax dollars were wasted through USAID to fund Iraqi Sesame Street. And this one is unacceptable. Improper payments or the government tossing cash into the wrong trough have become commonplace. In fiscal year 2024, federal agencies shoveled out $162 billion in improper...
What? 162 billion. $162 billion. Joni, say that again, because I don't think people understood that.
In fiscal year 2024, federal agencies shoveled out $162 billion in improper payments. The most frustrating part is how simple it is to stop this waste. A report by the Pandemic Response Accountability Committee found that $79 billion in potential COVID fraud could have been prevented if 4 basic questions were asked.
All right, so before she gets to those 4 basic questions, the lead-in was Jasmine Crockett saying, oh, there's always waste. We're just supposed to accept that there's waste and fraud. I wasn't raised that way. There's not a little bit of fraud, especially when, it's not your money. And then you hear these astronomical numbers which have no refute. You cannot refute what she's saying. So the object is to ignore it. 162 billion? That's a lot of damn money. And they won't even talk about it. They don't bring it up. Caitlin Collins didn't want to talk about the dowels that they were defrauding. Didn't want to bring it up. And so nobody is going to know about this. Nobody who watches news is going to know that $162 billion went so that Oscar the Grouch could, come out of a garbage can in a dust bowl in Iran.
1, is the applicant's social security number valid? 2, if valid, does the name connected to that number match the name on the application? 3, does the birthday match? And lastly, is the individual alive? Seriously, folks, that could have saved $79 billion right there. The good news is that we can prevent nearly all improper payments in the future with my DOGE in Spending Act that enacts common sense guardrails like those 4 simple questions.
I don't know where we go from here as a people, but we have to begin starting, like she said, those 4 simple questions. Are they real people? Is there any way we can find out, are they real people? Does anybody want to know if they're real people? And that's from stopping it moving forward. Go backwards. Was it given to real people? Who cashed the checks? Who used the cards? Where did the money go? Where did it get transferred from? I have no idea. I don't think they have any idea. You see, 2025, in my mind, is going to be that time in our history when we're going to look back and find out, we found out all this money has been stolen for years and nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody. Even the Republicans aren't pushing, hey, can we find out where this gazillion dollars has gone? Remember, the Pentagon lost $2 trillion under Biden. I don't even know where it is. And that's why when President Trump keeps talking about, how about no tax on tips? How about no tax on overtime? How about no tax on Social Security? How about no tax on gambling? How about no taxes? How about we just go there and say no taxes? Can we just do there? And then just watch people turn into, their heads blow off, spontaneous combustion. That the Democrats know at that point, if there is no income tax, they're done. I don't know if we can ever get there, but right now, I don't understand on April 15th coming up that some people are going to willingly write a check. Knowing everything you've heard in this entire year of 2025, that April 2026, you're going to be, well, I can't wait to write this check to the government. No, it's not going to be pretty. In fact, I think people who haven't had their paycheck rated are going to have some questions. They're really going to want to know what the hell has happened, and deservedly so. I'm waiting for the coverage to come back up on the hearing. It has not come back on as of yet, so let me talk to you about this unbelievable knife that you guys have been seeing. Many people have received this knife. Many people have gotten it, and many people have gotten it for free. The guys at Patriot Addict, they've been supporting the channel for quite some time. I absolutely love that they do. We've had the blanket, we've had the hats, we've had the flag, and the biggest one has been this knife right here. And as a celebration here going towards Christmas, so go ahead and get it as soon as possible, you can get this red Trump combat knife for free. Completely for free. All you got to do is pay the shipping on it. The shipping is like $12-14. The knife usually retails for $70, but right now you can grab it just for the cost of fishing. I've got fishing on my mind. Shipping. And the reason why I said fishing is Robin has one too, and she takes hers out to the boat, and the little fishies that she does catch and bring home to eat, she uses this right there on the boat. It's very sharp. It has a window blocker in case, you get stuck in a car or something. And it has a seatbelt, cutter in case you got to get out of the seatbelt. So it's a real utility knife. And it's got good weight. It's got really good size. It's strong. It's not flimsy whatsoever. In fact, you see me being dainty with it because I don't want to drop it and have it hit something in the nether regions because it's that sharp. It's very sharp. And it has a quick action flip out too, but I'm not really good with that. So this knife is an exclusive for you guys here in the Fanfare family. So all you've got to do is go to berryknife.com. You can get this knife for free. All you got to do is pay shipping. It's the biggest deal of the year. For the price of just shipping, you can get, by the way, this knife, and you can get the, oh, wait a second here. They're going to throw in another knife. Somebody just handed this to me. You're going to get this 45-47 knife, and this knife is even sharper, and it's really slick looking, and it's got the signature right there as well. They put the signature on the actual knife. So you get not one, but you get two of these knives for the price of shipping alone. That's the 44-47. That's the combat knife. Go ahead and go right there, berryknife.com, and you can pick up that knife. I will be right back. I can't hit that button because we just gave away the fishing, so let me just do this.
Back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
All right, so I want to say something because I got a comment. I'm going to explain something. I want you to understand there's two words that you need to understand in regards to income taxes. Two very strong words that have completely different definitions. Evading taxes, and the reason I'm posting this is Christy goes, I don't understand how paying taxes is a choice. I just don't want my property to be seized for tax evasion. Evading taxes can be construed as being criminal. Can be construed as being criminal. Evading taxes. Avoiding taxes is actually encouraged. And one of the reasons why a lot of people don't understand the difference between evade and avoid is because they never have the opportunity to be shown how to avoid paying taxes. They are always told, hey, things are bad, things are going to happen, they're going to seize your property, they're going to do this, going to do that, because you're evading taxes. Avoiding taxes is saying, okay, here's how much I'm supposed to pay the government. Now what do I need to do to chisel that number down legally? If you remember, the president that you voted for, during his debate with Hillary Clinton, actually said it. He goes, he doesn't even pay his taxes. That's because I'm smart. If you don't remember that, dial that back to the debate in 2016 or so when he said that. Everybody started laughing because he knows the rules. And he knows I play with the same rules you do. He actually said that on television and people didn't catch it. Yeah, that means I'm smart. Avoiding taxes is encouraged because when you avoid taxes, you're putting more money back into the economy. You're employing people, you're doing different things. Not evading. Evading is, this is what you owe. Well, I don't feel like paying it. Nah, I don't know if you can do that. Some people say you can, but that's not advised. And I would never tell you not to pay your taxes. But what I will tell you is chip, 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 chip away. And yes, people like Donald Trump can indeed avoid taxes legally and get it down to as small a number as possible. What I can tell you is if you're filing taxes and using a 1040EZ form or some form of a 1040 form without having all the schedules and different things that can itemize your deductions and claims, and you don't claim as much as you possibly can, then you're not doing it right. The idea is to use the code to your advantage, and you should talk to an accountant, not just somebody at H&R Block, because you want to get as many different deductions and itemizations as possible, especially now. Especially, you should be able to make sure that happens. So understand that difference. You have evade, you have avoid. Evade is bad, avoid is very, very good. Very, very good. And it is a very strong delineation. So anybody tells you just don't pay it, nah. Anybody tells you avoid it, hey, show me, what should I do? Well, I can't tell you, I'm not your accountant, but here's what you may want to look at. You'd be amazed at all the different things you could, I'm not going to go there, but trust me. Again, your homework is to see, even if you're on a fixed income, what kind of stuff can I reduce my liability? Because most people don't even understand that you can reduce your liability. They don't pay any attention to it. They overpay. And they hope for, a refund of your own money. I never thought that's a refund. You're giving me back my money with no interest. Maybe stop that on the front end. Maybe stop how much they take out of your paycheck on the front end. Did you know you could do that? Or you think you just have to sign that form and let them take out all that money every single week or 2 weeks? A lot of stuff you can do. Just gotta learn. All right, so in addition to everything else that has gone on today, there was a hearing with Kristi Noem, and you know how these hearings go.
You have systematically dismantled the Department of Homeland Security, put your own interests above the department, and violated the law. You are making America less safe. So rather than sitting here and wasting your time and hours with more corruption, lies, and lawlessness, I call on you to resign. Do a real service to the country and just resign.
Can you imagine having the cojones to say that to somebody? Just do it. You've been doing so bad. Just go ahead and quit. Don't waste my time. I don't want to ask any questions. What a scumbag thing to say. That's how little they think of the Trump administration.
It is if President Trump doesn't fire you first. I yield back. But you did. Madam Secretary, you and the gentleman from NCTC referenced the unfortunate accident that occurred with the National Guardsman being killed.
Unfortunate accident. Somebody drives 3,000 miles across the country with the intention of doing a terrorist act to shoot National Guardsmen, and you call it an unfortunate accident. She's a better woman than I'm a man, because I would have had to just tell him straight up. Y'all need to blink out what I'm going to say here and tell him. Can you imagine the families of those two service people hearing this idiot say unfortunate accident? There was nothing accidental about it. And again, people couch their words. He knew exactly what he was saying.
You think that was an unfortunate accident?
I mean,
it was a terrorist.
No, wait. Look, I'll get it straight. Then you can.
He shot our National Guardsman in the head.
Look, Mr. Chairman, will you direct the witness to allow me to ask my question?
How do you ask a question? Anybody know how you ask a question? Are you going to go like full Paul Bunyan and take out, chop up your own question? What the hell is axe? Why is it that many people of my persuasion can't say the word ask? It's not axe, morons.
It was an unfortunate situation.
2 weeks ago, the day before Thanksgiving, a terrorist shot 2 of our National Guardsmen in Washington, D.C., killing Sarah Beckstrom dead, and Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf is still fighting for his life. Fortunately, we've had some really good news about Andrew recently, and he had the opportunity to stand up and is a miracle, and we're so grateful for his family for being so strong. We continue to lift him up and pray he has a full recovery. The terrorist who shot them was an Afghan national who entered the United States under Operation Allies Welcome. The same week, we arrested another Afghan national who came in under the same program. He was planning to carry out a bombing in Fort Worth, Texas. And just last week, just miles away in Washington, D.C., we arrested another Afghan national who also came in under Operation Allies Welcome. That individual provided support to the Islamic State of Iraq and ISIS-K and weapons to his father, who was a commander of a militia group in Afghanistan. Those are only a handful of the challenges that we face and the threats that the Department of Homeland Security stands against every single day.
You know, the Democrats have no answer for that. I was debating whether or not I should show that hearing, but it went as you might imagine. They had the round-robin attacks, followed by the Republicans trying to support. But every single Democrat just took a shot. That was a highlight. Why don't you just resign? What are you making a big deal of this unfortunate accident? That's how little they think of Americans. Shit happens. You know, every once in a while somebody gets shot in the head. Don't worry about it. Why don't you just resign? You're not doing anything. That disgusts me. I didn't want to waste your time showing you another 2-hour program where they're just going around insulting her, and never actually talking about anything. This is why we gotta go, Andrew Jackson. This is why we gotta go away and do the filibuster. Because otherwise it's just a dog and pony show. Nothing ever happens. She's going to walk away from that hearing today and go back to work and do what she's doing. And it's just like, okay, I wasted 3 hours of my life. Meanwhile, you know, Tom Homan's out there trying to do the actual work.
This is crazy, right? We already, you know, predating the Biden invasion, in 2020, after the Floyd fiasco and his death and all the protests, police left en masse, okay? The catering to the refugees, I'm sure that made it all worse. But on this cost of illegal immigration, I think the $150 billion price tag that the House put on it is way low. Do you agree with me?
Well, absolutely, because the billions of dollars you talked about on, you know, the health benefits is one thing, but we're not even talking about the cost of emergency room visits and hospital visits. That's not even in the calculation. And, you know, hospitals, you know, they don't absorb that cost. They're there to make money, so they pass that on to us who have insurance and the co-pays. So the hospital has to make up for, like, for instance, under Biden, 1 year, Yuma Regional Hospitals in the whole $26 million. So who pays that? You pay it through insurance premiums. You pay that through co-pays because they got to make that money up. They're going to pass it on to you and me, not just the taxpayers, but those also went through medical costs for us. So, you know, no one is absorbing the costs. We're making up for those costs. And I can tell you, between ICE and CBP, we spend billions of dollars a year on emergency care for illegal aliens in our custody. I mean, as an ICE director, I think we spent close to $1 billion on our medical services. So that's not even counted in these calculations of multiple billions of dollars just in healthcare for illegal aliens. I can't even tell you what the cost is. For instance, back in Human, when they were in $26 million in the hole, every maternity bed in that hospital one time had an illegal alien giving birth to a future U.S. citizen while...
Every bed in the maternity ward had somebody pumping out what they're hoping would then be a birthright citizen. Every single bed. And that's one hospital. I heard that. I guess many of us probably would have assumed that was happening, but actually hearing it and go, oh my goodness, it's just a factory. A factory is what they created. Bring them all in, let them spawn as much as possible, and just keep it growing. Keep it growing. And President Trump and God bless Tom Homan trying to stop this and quell this complete idiocy. It's insane. We're going to lose our country. They will outgrow us. One of the things that, you know, Charlie Kirk and other people have said, you know, Americans aren't breeding because Americans couldn't afford to. So all of this prosperity talk goes hand in hand with saving America. If people can't afford to have children because they want to do it the right way, then we have to make it so that they can afford to have children. Otherwise, as Elon's been showing, the birth rate here of America is going down and the newcomers is going up. And if you schedule that out a few years in the future, they are going to run the country. You see, one of the things that doesn't get talked about when you hear 2 million people have been deported and things of that nature. It's the number that hasn't been deported that I want you to focus on. And what I mean by that is, when you're seeing this stuff happen in Venezuela, if you know for sure that tens of millions of people have been let into this country, and a bunch of them are Venezuelans, that means there's a sleeper cell or cells just waiting to be activated here. And so by going out and doing these raids, I'm thinking that this also has to be a defense mechanism. Because the more you can drive these people into the shadows, the ones that surface means you need to keep an eye on them. Because Venezuela is not going to go down, and when I say Venezuela, I'm saying the deep state said that. They're not going to go down without swinging. Expect somewhere in this country, stuff is going to happen. President Trump has turned off the spigot. There's no more money flowing. He's taken their oil. He's making sure that they can't use that oil for dark purposes. They're about to take some more boats. The USAID, the NGOs, all that money is being turned off. Everything that they've been used to fund illicit activities around the world and here is being turned off. We're seeing these dogs get cornered. These dogs getting cornered means it's going to get dangerous. They're not just going to go away. And so, as we're about to celebrate Christmas, keep your eyes open.
American families had to drive 100 miles to give birth to their baby. It's just ridiculous.
We've made significant progress under President Trump's leadership. We have the jihadis of ISIS and al-Qaeda on the run in Iraq and Syria, thanks to the decisive action and the strikes that we've taken there recently since President Trump took office in January. However, we have a persistent threat from the individuals that were allowed into this country by the previous administration. The number one threat that we have right now, in my view, is the fact that we don't know who came into our country in the last 4 years of Biden's open borders.
Yep, exactly. When you sit back and think about it, me saying it's one thing, but you sitting back going, we let tens of millions of people into this country that we have no idea where they're from, who they are, what they've done in their life, their capabilities. And now as things are heading to a feverish pitch, what could potentially happen? It doesn't have to be something exotic. It doesn't have to be a plane going into a building. Tens of millions of people could mean cells everywhere. A little cell here, a little cell in Miami, a little cell in Los Angeles, a little cell in Boston. Oh, they took out 30, they took out 50, they took out 20. Because we are a welcoming country, and in this time of year, we just have this joy about us. And people realize we're joyful, and we congregate. There is so much happening in the next 60 days. You've got Christmas. You've got football games. You have bowl games. You have playoff games. You have New Year's. And then after New Year's, you have the college football championship. Then we got the Super Bowl. We have a lot of stuff happening in the next 60 days before mid-February. And then you got another big congregation of people in spring break all over the country. If you're a bad guy, you're like, I got a whole bunch of things I can look at here. And they only have to be white once.
Have identified is alarming, and I want to share that with you today. We just recently put out a warning of the heightened risk of terrorist attacks posed to the homeland by terrorists pretty much of all stripes, but in particular from ISIS and from al-Qaeda. NCTC has been crunching the numbers and going through the sheer volume of known and suspected terrorists that are in the country that came in under the Biden administration. So far, NCTC has identified around 18,000 known and suspected terrorists that the Biden administration let come into our country. These are individuals who, under normal circumstances, would never be allowed to enter our country because of their ties to jihadi groups like ISIS and al-Qaeda. Yet the Biden administration not only let them into the country, and in many cases facilitated their entry into the country, just like the entry of the Afghan terrorists who committed the terrorist attack here just before Thanksgiving, killing one of our National Guard members and wounding another. That Afghan was brought into the country as a group of over 100,000 Afghans who were brought here during the disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan. These individuals, despite what has been reported, were not vetted properly to come into the United States. The individual terrorist who committed the attack in D.C., he was vetted to serve as a soldier in Afghanistan. The Biden administration essentially used his tactical level vetting as a ruse to bring him here and to bring him into our communities, and we've seen the tragic results of that. Now, that Afghan, that attacker, that terrorist is just one of 88,000. We've identified.
Stop. One of 88,000. He is just one of 88,000. God help us. God help us. Put the armor of God on every single day with you and your family. And the Democrats don't want to talk about it. They don't even mention this. They keep their people oblivious to it. They don't even want you to know that there are threats out there. And that was one guy of 88,000.
2,000 of that group of 88,000 who have ties to terrorist organizations. We're working right now hand in hand with DHS and with the FBI to run down this 2,000, the Afghans who came here under Allies Welcome who have ties to terrorist organizations, and additionally the other 16,000 individuals with ties to terrorist organizations that Biden let into our country. That is probably the top terrorist threat that we face right now, and that doesn't include the individuals who came here illegally through the open border. That number, alarmingly, remains unknown at this time.
Unknown. We don't even know how many bad guys there are. You know, you and I can't do anything without having to flash an ID, do a scan. And we got millions of these people in here running wild, taking your money. And we're bad, and we're considered racist and xenophobe and homophobe because we don't want to do it anymore. And the Democrats never even bring it up. We're never going to vote our way out of this. We're not going to get back to safety. We have to do something drastic. And that's why, I want you to think of something. All the different, I was talking to somebody about this yesterday. Think of all the people in the administration. Stephen Miller, Susie Wiles, Kristi Noem, Marco Rubio, J.D. Vance, on and on and on. Doug Burgum, all of them, Howard Lutnick. Who do you not see? Who is the one person you don't see hardly ever? And that one person you don't see, actually there's two. You don't see John Ratcliffe and you don't see Tulsi Gabbard. Something tells me that that's what a lot of this stuff from Venezuela and things that we're seeing in this regard, they're working really hard behind the scenes. Pam Bondi, she's on television every other week. Kristi Noem, you just saw her. You don't see Tulsi Gabbard at all. You have to start thinking, why is Tulsi a ghost? Why do we never see Tulsi Gabbard? And you definitely don't see John Ratcliffe. People out there on X talking about how bad Ratcliffe is. When you don't see people, there's a reason why you don't see them. Think about what's happening right now in Venezuela and how we could be doing those things. What kind of information, chatter, watching of screens, all kinds of different things. She never gets called into a hearing. Once in a while she'll go to the cabinet meeting and say hi, but you don't hear Tulsi Gabbard talking because she is obviously working extremely hard. I'm going to tell you something that's really going to make you think. I heard this the other day, and my dad was in the military. My brother was in the military. He might still be in the reserves. So I want to ask you, people who have been in the reserves, who have been in the military, I'm going to ask you a real good question. How could Tulsi Gabbard be directing or co-directing military ops of people who are ranked above her? Remember, she's telling generals and other people where they could and could be going, and she's still in active reserves. How could she be doing that? Well, the only way she could be doing that is if she had a classified promotion. And those of you in the military, start thinking about that. Yeah, how can she be directing anything if she's still active reserve and she can't be telling people who are above her what to be doing? So she would have to be promoted above, but we haven't heard it because it's probably classified. All right, looks like the hearing is about to resume. I will go to that as soon as possible. But those of you guys in the military, let me know what you think about that. How could she be doing what she's doing, whatever she's doing, with people who are ranked above her? Love to hear that. All right, so let's continue.
And we're trying to figure out who those individuals are as well.
All right, it's time. You got here all this time. Here comes the payoff. I have a good time with this one.
No man should ever enter where we are going. Beware what lurks in the depths of the libtard zone.
Hello, this is Congressman Shri Thanidar. Today I introduced articles to impeach Secretary Pete Hegseth for murder and conspiracy to murder and reckless and unlawful mishandling of classified information. Since day one, Secretary Hegseth has disgraced that once proud office that he holds. From issuing orders to kill everybody on board a small boat with no evidence of any wrongdoing, to launching a follow-up strike to finish off survivors who barely clinging onto their life.
Dude, you're barely clinging to the English language. What the hell are you doing? Oh my gosh. I'm going to do impeachment on Pete Hegseth because he's killing people. These next few minutes might just make me just laugh the rest of the day.
Fight war plans in an unauthorized Signal group chat, which included a random journalist with no role anywhere in the administration. Pete Hegseth was already the most unqualified Secretary of Defense in American history. But through his abysmal conduct, he has failed to even meet the already pitiful expectations.
That's a GIF I have, a quick thing. But I would love to just do that in person. Just like, well, excuse me. Shut up. You're telling me that Pete Hegseth is the most unqualified person when you can't even speak the language. And you know what Andrew Dice Clay said?
That we had of him. We must impeach and remove Pete Hegseth as soon as possible. Thank you.
This whole segment is to let you know why we can never let these people back in power. You know what we talked about? We got to do the nuke the filibuster because if they get back in power, they're going to do it anyway. Well, they're already doing it. They're doing it with no power whatsoever.
RFK Jr. has got to go.
Today, I introduced articles of impeachment to remove him from office. RFK Jr. has turned his back on science, on public health, and on the American people. Under his watch, families are less safe, healthcare costs are skyrocketing, and life-saving research, including right here in Michigan, is being gutted. RFK Jr. is the biggest self-created threat to our health and safety. I cannot and I will not stand by while one man dismantles decades of medical progress. Enough is enough. And that is why I'm pushing to impeach RFK Jr., to hold him accountable, and to protect the health, safety, and future of every Michigander. Because our health, our science, and our future are worth fighting for.
Let's just impeach everybody, all right? Let's just save the time, round up the entirety of the Trump administration, and just impeach them all. Let's just get rid of them, okay? They're all no good.
He is basically killing and bombing boats, claiming that these people are involved with drug trafficking without evidence, without proof, without coming to the Congress of the United States to talk about what he knows and what should be done and how it should be handled. He's just killing people. And he doesn't care that he's being criticized. That Clark did.
This is our government. Remember, this isn't some podcasters. This is people just posting things on X. This is our government. These are people holding elective offices saying this insanity over and over and over again. No wonder the Democrats are bat poop crazy. These are their people who are leading them, and including this one, Lex Luthor.
Introduce the AI Civil Rights Act. It's urgent because the truth is that we are already behind. People are already being exploited and discriminated against with the use of algorithms. Now, let's take an issue like housing, for example, which in my opinion is a human right. Everyone deserves more than just shelter. They deserve to have a home. It's safety, it's dignity, it's health, it's mobility. In 2025, the Trump administration has gutted the key agencies that protect against housing discrimination, the CFPB and HUD Fair Housing Enforcement Offices. They are even trying to undo consent orders that are already in place, like the Townstone discrimination case in Chicago. This gap in civil rights protections is an opening for continued discrimination. One study found that mortgage lenders are 80% more likely to reject black applicants compared to white applicants with the same qualifications.
I'm sorry. There's no other way to show this stuff but to just go, oh my God, these people cannot be normal.
Mr. Branch, should we have additional oversight tools, such as assessments to test the algorithms out before companies can use AI on the public? Yes or no?
Yes.
Do any of our witnesses, other than Mr. Branch, disagree with that? Okay. Let the record reflect that no one disagreed.
I love that shot. There's nobody there. Let me just bring that up again. There's nobody there. It's an empty hearing. Nobody cares what you have to say, cue ball. Nobody, especially not us. Everything is discriminatory. Everything is racist. You're racist. I'm even racist. I'm black and I'm racist. I can't take it.
We know that bias exists in our nation. We see the inequities all around us. I represent the Massachusetts 7th, a vibrant, diverse, dynamic district and one of the most unequal in the country. We're in a 3-mile radius from Cambridge, home to MIT, Harvard, and AI advancement, to Roxbury, the blackest part of my district. Life expectancy drops by 30 years. And median household income.
Anybody want to verify that? Tell me that you live in a zip code and your life expectancy drops. You think it has something to do with, I don't know, the stuff you're eating? I don't know, stuff you're smoking? I don't know, the people shooting each other? Are you putting in all those variables Because I'm pretty sure if you live in an area where they're shooting everybody, then your life expectancy in that zip code is going to go down. I'm sure if you're letting diabetes run wild, the diabetes is going to kill more people in your area. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I didn't sleep in a Holiday Inn, but I'm pretty sure those things would, influence the dead people in your zip code.
Come by $50,000. Now, that is the result of intentional lawmaking, which is why I believe we have to be just as intentional in undoing the harms and charting an equitable path forward. Because AI is trained on data that is already biased, and by humans that have biases, it can replicate and exacerbate these harms unless we have oversight and prevent it.
I don't even know what the hell she's saying. Exasperate, the best desperate, the invigourate. What in the hell are you talking about? Now they're telling us the AI is going to hurt the black people. That's what she just said. Well, here's something Trump wants to go forward with in AI and be the leader, and he's got Howard Lutnick talking about it, but oh, hey, the AI is going to hurt the people in the hood. The people in the hood, what's the AI going to do to the people in the hood? Is the AI something you can see in the bedroom? Is the AI going to take the 38 special and gun down, Jimmy Bob? Boo foo foo? How is the AI going to stop you from eating Cheetos? Tell me exactly how the AI is making the black people in your area get more diabetes. I can't with these people. They're morons.
We must not allow AI innovation without AI protections. In a world of artificial intelligence, we really cannot lose sight of what is real, and that is the people. The people.
I think we're watching.
Their livelihood.
I'm watching AI intelligence. You cannot be real yourself. You're talking to people and saying the AI is racist now. The AI, the computer, is somehow going to stop the black peoples in your neighborhood, the diverse neighborhood that you live in. It's going to stop those people from, what? Clocking? I don't know. They're not going to be able to chart out where they can go to. I don't mean to make light of the crime in certain areas, except she brought it up. I didn't bring it up. She said, if you live in these areas, you're 30% more likely to die. Well, what happens is when you drive into that neighborhood, does the air quality go, oh, I can't breathe here. No. The reason why that zip code has higher death rates and earlier death rates is because of the environment, the culture. They insult me. They insult you. And I make light of it because it's absolutely stunning how everything comes out of their mouth is because of racism.
And their lives. If Republicans are serious about protecting our elders from fraud and consumers from discrimination, then Congress must pass the AI Civil Rights Act.
The AI Civil Rights Act. We shall overcome AI. What the hell? It's an algorithm. And what do you want it to say? Okay, if a black person asks a question and I don't even, how would you even purport to write? How could you possibly even write I don't know. It hurts. It actually hurts when you think about it. But no libtard moment would be complete without this dude.
Speaker, and still I rise to note that tonight I have called for the impeachment of Donald John Trump, President of the United States of America. He is an abuser of presidential power. He has called for the execution of members of the House of Representatives, of this very House. He has demeaned members of the judiciary. He has conducted himself in office such that persons are now threatening members of the judiciary, threatening members of the House of Representatives, threatening members of the Senate. Donald John Trump, by his conduct, merits impeachment, trial, and conviction in the Senate of the United States of America, and should never hold any office of public trust ever again.
We don't have to wait until 2028. When everybody out there is posting on X and they keep saying things like, you know, if we do it to them, they'll do it to us. They're already doing it. All those clips you saw were from the last 24 to 48 hours. They're impeaching everybody. They're already doing it. They're going to have mass impeachment trials. Pete, come on in. Pam Bondi, come on in. What? Tulsi? Never mind. Let's just have one big one. And we got Republicans on the other side going, well, we can't do it. If you don't do it, you're done. If you don't do it, they are going to destroy your lives one at a time. That's how bad it's going to be. And I don't even know if you've known that, because, you know, some of this stuff doesn't get publicized, but each and every one of them are like, hey, let's go ahead and impeach this person. It's like they're having, you know, impeachment meetings inside the halls of Congress. Who are we going to go after next? I haven't heard Marco Rubio yet. Haven't heard him. Haven't heard J.D. Vance. I'm sure it's coming. But believe it or not, the frosting on that cake, racist AI. We need a Civil Rights Act for AI. I thought I've heard some stupid stuff. That pretty much takes it. Well, I just want to let you know, they still haven't come back on. So I'm not going to sit here and wait. Maybe I'll show some of it tonight. Here, I'll let you hear some of what's going on as they're burning time.
That point may be very different, but, you know, I think Andy raises an important point here, and just to extrapolate on a jury selection here is going to be very, very important. That's always the case in any high-profile case, and all you need is one person who has been reading some crazy stuff, and you may be able to hang the jury. So they may clean him up when it comes game time, but he definitely doesn't seem very concerned. And to, again, just to extrapolate a little bit, maybe to go out a little on a limb, in cases like this where perpetrators are accused of doing something for a particular ideological purpose, very often they want the trial. They're not going to just plea immediately because they want their moment in the sun, as I said earlier. They want to get their message across. The courtroom becomes their stage. We've seen that many times in the past. So you have to import the possibility of that. But if you're sitting where his defense is, you would certainly like him to look a little more serious, a little bit more subdued, and that won't play very well to the court if he's smirking, looking around, looking disheveled. That's not what you want if you're sitting at the defense table.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he's going to, I don't know, maybe say I'm insane or something. Who knows? But, excuse me, they're still waiting, and I'm about to wrap up. So if they do something, I'll go ahead and cover it tonight. So tonight, let me tell you what's on tap. On tap, we got a busy night. I've got an interview with Alpha Warrior, which I will be showing. And then we've got President Trump is going to be at the Congressional Ball, which he'll be making remarks. And I'll have some news as well. So we'll plan on getting together, let's say 7:30ish. I'm definitely doing a show. Don't worry, Barry's not going to just go to sleep tonight. I'm not here for 5 hours. So we'll definitely do a show. We'll figure out the time. I will post it on X and on YouTube, and we'll figure out what time that show is. I want to make sure President Trump and understand what time he's going live. And then, of course, we'll do the jump over to Rumble, and you get to hear Alpha Warrior. We spoke for close to an hour. Nice conversation. Encompassed a lot of different things. I know a lot of you guys like him. He's so affable. I love talking to him. We're talking about everything from influencers, and we wrapped up by talking about Candace Owens. So we talked about Michael Flynn. We talked about Patrick Byrne. I think you guys are going to like that. We got a good conversation tonight. And like I said, it goes for about an hour. So not sure what time President Trump's going to hit the stage, but whatever time he hits the stage, we will make sure we take that as well. All right. Excuse me. Fukovsky. Wow. Boom, boom, boom. Boom. 4 of them. Thank you very much. Never enough. Obamacare, I don't care. Thank you. Thank you for all of those, Bukowski. Leon, got my gas here in Newport News, Virginia. I just got it for $2.65. Filled half a tank, $20 last week. 14, Mr. Trump. Thank you. Redeemed Patriot. If we can't believe in ourselves to succeed, what does that say about our prayers and our belief in the Almighty God? Very well said. Cutting edge. I started buying stocks in silver in the app of Robinhood. Very easy. Do yourself a favor, because things can go south in a hurry. And where is it? Where's my little one here? Do I have it somewhere around here? I always show it. I don't know where I put it. I might have taken it out in the other room. But I was going to show you the actual piece of gold. I like having it in my hands. I like having it, the actual piece, instead of just paper. Rosie, thank you. Steve Anderson, Noise UK wants Ukraine war to continue. Yeah, they do. Aaron Summerlin, I'm looking to buy my first home now that Trump is lowering interest rates. How much do you think the rates may drop, and when do you think that might happen? They lowered them yesterday. It'll take a while before you see it in the market. If you can, I would wait until Jerome Powell is out of office, because once he's out of office, you're going to see a precipitous drop at that point. So maybe, well, I forget when his last day is, but whatever his last day is, I would probably wait until then before I pull the trigger. That's what I would do. What did I do with it? I don't know what I did, that little piece of gold. How bad is that? How bad is it for me to be saying, where did I put the gold? There's gold somewhere around here. Yeah, wait until they actually drop all those rates. Mr. Mike, thanks to you, Barry. I now collect 30 silver coins a year minimum. Here's to proactive prosperity. God bless you. Truly have the best channel. Thank you. Lisa Osler, infuriating that Tyler Robinson gets privacy while Charlie's execution was very public. Yeah, I know. We guard the rights of the bad people sometimes better than the good people. Demon of Cybertron, impeachment brought to you by Quickie Mart. And Thornton Maloney, not worried about the midterms. The Democrats have already told you what they're going to do once they get in. If he's not worried, he should be. Well, Thornton, let me just tell you, neither you nor me know the plan he has. Just take that for what it is. If you think he should be worried, then you're saying that he doesn't see what's happening. Think about what you just said. You are saying that the President of the United States, who has already been shot, who's been impeached twice, who's been in court across the country, doesn't know what is about to happen to him if he doesn't get things done. That's what you're saying. I could never presume to say that I know his plans, but I can presume to say he knows what will happen. He absolutely, his family, his kids, they all know what's going to happen. So I would put, as I have, my trust there. That's what I would say about it. All right, everybody. They have not come back on yet. They're still talking. It just says coming soon. Let's listen to what they're saying now.
So dropping someone off or delivering someone, very important to this case. Presumably that was Tyler Robinson being escorted over here. So a lot going on the inside of the courthouse that we will keep you updated on. But on the outside here, things are very intense as well, Aisha.
That's wild. That's very wild. All right, everybody. I'm going to put on the after party and I'm going to go have some lunch and I will see you guys tonight. Oops, wrong button.
Noel, the angels did say, was to certain poor shepherds in fields as they lay, in a fields where they lay, keeping their sheep on a cold winter's night that was so deep. Noel, Noel. looked up and saw a star shining in the east, beyond them far, and to the earth it gave great light, and so it continued both day and night. Noel, Noel, Noel. been of old. When with the ever-circling years shall come the time foretold, when man new heaven and earth shall own the Prince of Peace, their King, and the whole world send back the song which now the angels sing. to the world the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room. And heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. I ask thee to stay close by me.